We're real happy to see y'all tonight. I welcome you all to Mittens Winter Tape. I hope you have a good day. Hey, raise your glass today. Is this a cabaret? Regardless, here today. Let's congratulate. Yo. To the young and restless, pardon I have to say, y'all looking mighty late. Who got some ass today? Oh gosh, I know I'm vulgar. Let's curse the night away. I spot a cutie pie with those bewitching eyes. Sweep her off her feet, I'll be the broom between the thighs. This not the time for cheeks, I'm such a douche, it's no surprise. I mean, I had to try, unless she's down to go. I'm trying to flirt, the party goers trying to snatch me like, hold up, are you a rapper? Well, I'm not any scrub. You want some bars today? Well, this not any pub. So go on and order drinks. You wanna rhyme a line? They like, excuse me, sir. I had to find the time to say you're mighty gifted. There's no Saint Nick in here. The way they raving on me, think I ever dare in here. Heard you and Mittens called the sad boy crew. Funny, all I do is smile when my tunes have you. Best duo when y'all flourish. Hope you're always cool. And remember what you said, man, it's always you. Don't worry about the hate, cause you're always true. Take yourself and cherish us, man, I always know. Been here since drum and bass, and you're in our circulations. To the sounds of Akari and the Moogie compilations. To the mega mix throwbacks or the kanji on your pages. To the nerd, wasn't stopping before Tenko as the place you call home. Damn, you shot us in the heart. May your day be filled with Mary, and this song convey our thoughts. Hey, that's why I'm happy to say it's your day, it's your day. I'm happy to say, I'm happy to say it's your day. I'm happy to say, I'm happy to say it's your day. I'm happy to say, I'm happy to say it's your day. I'm happy to say, oh, oh, oh.
I'm happy to say, I'm happy to say it's your
Welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the podcast and all of that. Hopefully you guys are doing well. I'm going to just be up front. This is going to probably be a two-parter. This is a little bit longer than I thought it would be, to be honest. So that's a thing. Okay, so why are you guys here? I'm not sure why you guys are here, but I'll tell you what I'm talking about. Essentially, we're going to go over this Jasper situation. Now, as you guys remember, this Jasper nonsense happened last Friday. Went on this crazy-ass rant on Jasper doesn't need blood work, and he's never... Don't you remember when he had blood work? I don't think Jasper's ever had blood work. And all this other nonsense about female veterinarians who have wet hair and all this other crap. That's what we're going to go over. In the upcoming weeks, though, which is really only like 2, we will focus a little bit more on the Street Fighter stuff because Evo's like right around the corner. So I definitely want to go ahead and start and get back into that shit. Get back into the Godson and whatnot, and I'll give you guys some of the what's what. There is some things in the FGC that are kind of going on right now that I'd like to talk about a little bit. So we'll see how that pans out. Got a thing with a low tier. I'll probably just throw low tier God into that one. So that'll be a thing. The new King Cobra documentary is out. Empire of Dirt, I think that's what it's called. Haven't had a chance to actually sit down and watch it yet, but from what I've heard, it didn't pan out well for Josh, for Cobra. So that's a thing. So we'll talk about that at a later time. Got some wing stuff lined up for you. What else? Amber and Chantel, that's a thing. And Review Tech USA. I have a whole fun house of stuff waiting for you when it comes to Review Tech USA. With that being said, welcome to my TED Talk. So how did this all happen? First off and foremost, big ups to everybody in the chat. First thing, the way this all happened was Prop, or Agent Proper, invited me onto his stream last Saturday. Big ups to Agent Proper on that. And DSP had one of his outrageous rants about Street Fighter I'm pretty confident about. And we talked briefly about this situation with Jasper, and that situation happened Friday, the day before. So I've been playing a lot of Black Ops 2 since the servers came back on Xbox. But at the same time, I've had a couple sparks of inspiration as I've been having fun with that with my peoples and all that. Now, DSP is a creature of habit. We've all talked about this. You guys all know this. Yes, I heard about Cyrax. But then again, not to get sidetracked, Cyrax put himself in that situation. Sitting there making all these response videos, incriminating himself like a fucking idiot. He did that to himself. He did that to himself. So fuck Cyrax all day. He deserves that shit. The question is, how long will they keep him, if anything? But anyway, as I was so over the weekend, I was thinking about what was being said about Jasper and this whole thing with his appointment. And DSP is a creature of habit, so I decided to reach out to like two other friends of mine and members of GTG Network and Productions. You guys know how that goes. And I wanted to backtrack on when did Jasper have appointments since 2019, and which led to an interesting situation as it pertains to 2019. Now that I think about it, because I was talking to Prop a little bit about this too, or Proper, about when was it that when did Jasper actually have his first appointment? Like, when was the first time DSP talked about it? Because just in case you guys don't know, let's lean on some existing lore. DSP's or Jasper's big urinary tract infection was in 2001, and DSP told us that was the second one that he had. He never really mentions the first one that happened in 2000. He said that, well, at least from what I've been able to find, he did talk about an appointment. He did talk about how inconvenienced he was going to said appointment because of the pandemic, obviously. And he made a whole rigmarole about that. I've got that. But he never really came out and said anything about the UTI, as far as I know, until Jasper got the second one. But I found a whole slew of bullshit leading up to that and even after it. So there's a couple things that I need you guys to kind of just let swim in your ramen for a little while as we go along. Everything that DSP bitched about as it pertains to being upcharged or being upsold on blood work, talking about how they never told us anything about the dental, so that's why they went and got him treats, this, that, and the third. These are allegedly all things he's said in the past. So he's contradicted himself quite a bit. On top of that, according to my timeline, Jasper usually goes to the vet anywhere between June and August each and every year, give or take. It really depends on whether Jasper's sick or not. With that being said, I don't think Jasper's ever had an actual physical. I think they take him to get his vaccination for rabies or whatever, and that's essentially the extent of it. I don't think Jasper's had a full-blown checkup. And given what DSP has said last week, that kind of proves my point. But I'm not done. On top of the fact that I don't think Jasper's had a full checkup, I don't think, and he definitely hasn't had blood work. We all know that now. DSP said something in 2020 about trying to go to multiple veterinarians during the pandemic. So truth be told, I don't even know if he even took Jasper to the same vet office over the last couple years. There's like a bunch of different like weird ass scenarios that DSP has talked about over the years. So here's what the timeline is, ladies and gentlemen. Let's cut the shit and get to it. We're going to be working from 2019 all the way up till last week. That's the plan. Now, I have everything grouped out by year. We're going to start off with last week's nonsense, and then we're going to hit when Jasper got revealed in 2019. If we get to everything else, we do. If we don't, we hit that on the next stream. Cool? Cool? Great. Another thing. And this is something that I made sure there was a level of emphasis on because I need you guys to really remember this. In 2019, in August of 2019, I should say, when Jasper was revealed, which is somewhere between August 4th and August 5th, DSP was asked, hey, how long have you had Jasper for, that you haven't told us or whatever. And he said, whoever it was said about 6 months or so. DSP said, nah, we've had Jasper longer than that. Which means a couple of things. One, it proves without a shadow of a doubt that the wedding was already premeditated as far back as when they got Jasper. Jasper, more than likely, they've been sitting on him since at least the end of 2018, if not even the middle of 2018. And Jasper never saw a checkup, allegedly, outside of what he got at the shelter until at least 2020. At the very least, 2020. So it's going to get messy. It's going to get kind of shaky on some of this bullshit. But we'll see. It should be fun either which way. All right, chat. So that's what the scenario is. We're gonna start off with last week's bitch segment, and then we'll basically work our way to 2019. All right. Let's see. What else I want to talk to you guys about really fast before we get started. DSP's. Oh, I know what I want to talk about really, really, really fast. Oh, and welcome to my TED Talk. And thank you for coming to my TED Talk. DSP's Blanca gameplay from the other day, I think that was Monday, is shit. That dude could barely remember anything that he did the week before. Like, we were missing combos, he was forgetting about level 2, he was thinking about like level 2 supers, like he could not get that shit together. It was hilarious. On top of that, I'm not sure if it's been pointed out yet, but DSP's obsession with beating Ken, or Ken players, has fucked with him even worse, or it's fucking with him on the level of like the Side Scrollers interview. He's not playing to win. He's playing to try to prove a point. And instead of playing the actual players, he's trying to beat the characters to prove his own point. And it's not working. Like, I have a particular match that I had a chance to record that this Ken was essentially dead to rights. Like, DSP theoretically had him, and DSP was saying, oh, this player sucks, the character was carrying him, so on and so forth, and the guy ended up pulling it out in the end, which led to that huge bitch fit that DSP had. He may have beaten the Ken after him, but it didn't matter because DSP's whole day was fucked up. This is one of the reasons why the FGC will never really accept him. He is so hardwired, if you will, into finding a reason why he fails, and desperate to try to get people to see his way or see his point on how everything should be on an equal level, which is not how life works, is one of the main reasons why he's fucked up the way he is now. That shit is crazy. And then here's the crazier part. He is progressively getting worse. He's not actually getting better playing. He's getting worse. And now they have this situation, it's a quality of life thing, update that's coming up, where dashing, I think, is like a 2-button situation now. If that's the case, Guile, DJ, Chun-Li, basically any character really, is gonna own him clean. Like, not having to double tap to dash anymore, and you can do it off a 2-button shit, is almost like the equivalent. It's kind of like an FADC, kind of, sort of like a focus cancel from like Street Fighter 4, but it's too convenient. That's what I'm saying. It's too convenient. So if he thinks he's having problems now, it's gonna get a whole lot worse in a little while. He has no clue how bad shit's about to get for him. And then on top of that, This is the most casual, friendly Street Fighter ever made. You got pros on Twitter arguing about this. It's the most casual Street Fighter game ever made. Right? It was designed this way to be very casual friendly. And DSP is bitching and complaining the way he is. It only proves that Super Turbo was a fluke. It only proves that everything DSP has ever done, not in the FGC, but in the Super Turbo community, means jack shit. And it also explains why he's having a hard time adapting, why he's not learning, and why he's not retaining anything. So unless he actually starts to really practice, it's gonna be embarrassing. That's all I'm saying. And once his Blanca gets fucking exposed, like to where DSP literally is forced to run to something else because he can't play Blanca no more, then that's when you're gonna see the ego really start to like crumble. It's going to be fantastic when shit pops off. In any case, thank you yet again, chat. Let's go ahead and get to the situation because we're in for a long one. And I'll see you guys in a second. I will see you guys in a second.
I'm happy inside. I'm happy inside today. I'm happy inside. Oh, oh, oh.
I'm happy to say, I'm happy to say it's your
Okay, chat. So I've got this clustered in a rather inconvenient way for myself, but it should flow well in general for you guys, which is really all that matters at the end of the day. So this is how the ball starts. We're going to go to July 14th of 2023, which was DSP's most recent rant about whatever the fuck, and then we're going to essentially work backwards. Okay, let's take a look at the chat real quick. Yeah, he chokes so much because he doesn't have any repetition. That's kind of his problem. That's one of his major problems, I should say. Let's see, if I can drop this song in the chat for you guys, I can do that. That's from the homie D Real. I've used some of his songs before. Alright, there you go. It's in the chat whenever you guys, for anybody who wants it. Let's see here. Training mode, what's that, dude? Yeah, I know it. It's unfortunate. And big ups to everybody in the chat. Hopefully you guys are doing alright. Let's see here. Alright, here we go. Yeah, no problem, man. So I'm black it out. Glad I could help. Alright, this is by Dark Side Gout, but it was clipped. The majority of it, I should say, was clipped by the homie Diggs. And big ups to Pig Go, which did a lot of heavy lifting. If I have to be honest with you, did a lot of heavy lifting. So big ups to that. All right, here we go.
All right. Now let's talk about my day off yesterday, okay?
So you guys know the rules. If it's too high or too low, let me know.
And
yes, he was terrible at Marvel 2. He was probably terrible at Marvel 1 also, but he was definitely bad at Marvel 2. I don't know why he keeps that up. Maybe because, I mean, the majority of the proof is out there that he was shit at Marvel 2. The money matches speak for itself. What's up, Ice? So it's not like no one. It's not like there isn't anything to point to and say, "Hey, you were shit. You were a walking ATM. You were literally a combo dummy that paid other people to beat you up." it's not like there isn't any evidence to the contrary. But whatever. Semantics.
Yesterday was interesting because, first of all, it was incredibly hot again here in Washington. It was almost 90 degrees. So the whole day I'm out, I'm sweating. You know, it's a hot summer day. And, of course, once again, when we have a day off, we have a million things we got to do. We have an appointment, and this in particular, it was a vet appointment for Jasper. Good news is, he's not sick or anything. It was his yearly checkup and also his second dose of a rabies vaccine, which I guess now gives him a 3-year coverage. We'll talk about this in a moment, okay? We're going to talk about this
now,
because...
I want you to pay attention to that part, too, where he says, oh, well, he wasn't sick or anything. He's getting on to the Chantel or Foodie Beauty levels of this bullshit where, oh, I only deal with my pets when they're sick. If not, I don't ever take them in for anything, which is the reason why Chantel, if you guys are following her, is spazzing the fuck out the way she is. Because the animal neglect that she's being accused of, there's all of this evidence, and she can't explain any of it away. You had these cats for 20 years, and you barely took them. You weren't even willing to take them to get their nails taken care of or whatever, and you never took them to any checkups or anything unless they were sick, unless they were damn near dying. So I want you guys to pay attention to that because Phil falls onto that same spectrum. But remember, Jasper is his family and he loves them. And he'll do anything for him, allegedly.
Yesterday was a fiasco, all right? And at this point, maybe if this had happened randomly, it wouldn't have been such of a big deal. But as you guys know, I literally just told you a story last week about how I was scammed a few years ago when it came to my food waste disposal unit. How I had paid a lot of money to get one replaced, and the guy literally didn't replace all the stuff he was supposed to. He basically charged me like he did, and he ripped me off. Gave me the same unit. That unit's a piece of junk, right? I ended up...
All right, first off, X the gout. Secondly, he didn't get ripped off. He allowed himself to get ripped off, if anything else. When you paid that dude to come in and replace not just the disposal unit, but all the piping and everything that came with it, you let him talk you into, oh, I'll just replace the unit and everything else. You paid for all of that. That's your fault. The moment he came in and he was like, okay, well, hey, normally we would come in and replace your unit and all of these and all of the extensions and everything that goes along with it, you should have been like, all right, bet, go ahead and do it. Oh, well, this still looks like it's in pretty good shape. Nah, just go ahead and square it all up so it's all new. You should have done that. Now, if you're too scared to speak to people, if you don't have enough confidence to speak with your chest or whatever, that's your problem. That's your fault. But for everybody else, for every other grown-ass adult, you're going to tell them, nah, just go ahead and replace all of it. I'm already paying for that, so just go ahead and do it. Enough said. So he let himself get fucked over there.
I just had to pay for a whole big new thing, all right? So, basically, let me talk about everything but the vet first, okay? So, we had to rush yesterday because we had all this stuff to do. So, we're like, we don't even have time to, like, make food. Let's order some food quick while my wife is getting ready for the day. So, we ordered some food. The food was over a half an hour late with no excuse. Like, we've ordered before from this place, and the food comes like this. This delivery driver just decided to go in circles or take their time. So, the food was over half an hour late, already setting us back on our already busy day. So, it paced the day wrong, and it was a bad start, all right?
So then we were too lazy to get up early, make breakfast, and then go ahead and head out. We had to depend on someone else to do it for us, and allegedly they were a half hour late. Which means, chat, wouldn't that have put him a half hour late for Jasper's appointment? Just, foreshadowing it, I think is what they call it.
Side of that, what else did we do during the day? Well, as you can see, one of the things we did is that we went to I think it's supposed to be a secondhand clothing store, but also like a reseller. I don't know exactly. So the way this store works is they have name brand clothes, okay? But some of them you can tell are absolutely brand new. They still have the store tags and everything on them. But sometimes they don't. And I get the feeling that some of the clothes are slightly used, which is fine because they're washed and cleaned and prepared and resold there. But other times they're brand new. So
actually, he foreshadowed this in another video that I saw. So I'm going to point a lot of this out to you. He's talking about Plato's Closet. During the vest streak in 2020, he was looking for places to find vests for cheap. And besides Marshall's, there was another place he wanted to go to, and he said Plato's Closet came up. And he said he thought it was a good place to go and check for clothes. And so on and so forth. So this is where he's more than likely getting all of his Hawaiian shirts and some of this other, and some of his graphic tees and stuff. Ross also. This is where he's getting some of his stuff from. You know what I'm saying? This is where he's going for it. And that just happened randomly.
That I wanted to go there was, as you know, recently we did my digital summer party, right? And we had a great time, and I wore a Hawaiian style shirt during that event. And people liked that vibe. They were like, wow, it's like a party atmosphere. It feels wearing something a little different. I told you guys how comfortable I was in this shirt. I was like, wow. I was playing Street Fighter, but I felt comfy. I wasn't really sweaty or whatever like I normally is wearing a t-shirt. And so people were like, you know, why don't you get more shirts, more button-down shirts like that, right? And I was like, you know what? When I get opportunity to, I will. And so yesterday was my opportunity to do that. So I went to this store, and they had a ton. I mean, they had a lot of stuff. And I went through a bunch, and I ended up grabbing a few shirts, and they're all cheap. Like, they're like $10. Like, wow. I think this shirt right now I'm wearing was $8 or $10. Okay? It's comfy. It's very silky feel. I know it's not silk. It's probably polyester. But it's very silky. It's relaxing. I'm like, oh, this is nice, right? It's a nice shirt. So, you know, moving forward, what I'm probably going to do is alternate. Because I have some silly shirts that look like this. I have some that look a little better than this. You know, this is more silly, you know, Hawaiian vibe. But there's others, like I got one that has little sharks. It's kind of nice. You'll see, because I'm going to be wearing them over the course of the next several weeks. What I'm going to do is kind of alternate. I'll wear one shirt like this, then I'll wear a t-shirt, then I'll wear this again, I'll alternate between, rather than it just being the same kind of thing every day. I guess it makes sense wearing the same kind of clothes for 15 years kind of gets played out. And people are like, why don't you wear a little bit more variety of clothing? Some people in chat are saying age appropriate. You think that a button-down shirt is age appropriate? So you think because I'm 41 years old, I can't wear a t-shirt? Is that what you're saying?
It's not that.
Really?
It's the fact that the graphic tees that you wear only insinuate that you're the fraud and the poser that everybody thinks you are. That's kind of really what it comes down to. The fact that at 40-something you're discovering that button-down shirts are a thing, and button-down shirts are a thing during the summer is kind of wild. Maybe if you went on vacation or something, you know, you might have been able to figure that out. But semantics, you know, whatever. Magnum Pig, that's funny.
41-year-olds can't wear t-shirts.
Or Magnum PIG, I should say. That sounds even better. That's hilarious.
I never heard that one before. Okay, that's a new one. All right, well, I guess I'll learn. But anyway, so yeah, so it was nice, and I like what we found, my wife and I, you know, at the store. They also had sunglasses, and I get a new pair of sunglasses. But what it was, so they had a pair that kind of looked like these, like what do they call these? I forget what these are called. They have a word, a name for these, right? I can't remember what they're called, but I just didn't like. They had a few styles I didn't like. One of them had like weird colored tints to them. Like one of them was like a pinkish tan. I'm like, ugh, I want pinkish. Oh, aviators. Thank you. These are called aviators. So yeah, one of them had a weird pinkish tint. I didn't like that. And another one was like too big. Like they were bigger than these. I was like, it's too big. So I didn't really find one that I liked there. So I didn't get those. But I got a variety of shirts. So I'll be starting to wear those this week. This is my first one, and like I said, every other day. So probably like tomorrow I'll wear a t-shirt, then maybe Sunday I'll wear another one of these button downs. You know, let me know what you think. Right? It's a good variety of stuff. I mean, it's a different kind of variety. It's me on camera. You know, this didn't used to be a concern because I wasn't on camera, and then when I became a full-time streamer, now I'm on camera all day, every day. But still, it really wasn't a concern. And people didn't even bring it up until that marathon a couple weeks ago. They were like, you know, you look pretty good. It's different to see it, you know, kind of having a different vibe. And I was like, all
now,
right,
didn't DSP have some type of pity segment just the other day about how he doesn't think he looks good, and when people like give him compliments, he thinks that they're being facetious and whatever the case may be? Something along those lines? I thought I heard that somewhere. All right, so let's see what we got here. Two in the Gout Man. I like that. Miami Swine. That's fantastic. Weekend at Burnell's. Hawaii Swine. Oh, that's hilarious. Good shit, chat. Good shit.
all right, cool. So I had an opportunity to do that. Outside of that, we did a few other things. It's neither here nor there. The one thing that I want to talk about is this vet visit. All right, I'm pretty upset.
I think that is that Denton 5.0. That's pretty funny.
Explain what happened. All right. So for the record, Jasper Kitty is not sick. All right? He's perfectly healthy. He has nothing wrong with him at all right now. He was going in for his yearly checkup, and he was going in to get his rabies vaccine follow-up, okay? Now, I don't know how the rabies vaccine works. That's on the doctor to explain it to you, right? But I was under the understanding that he was going to probably need his rabies vaccine follow-up, but we had scheduled him just for a checkup, and we figured while we're there, we'll get everything done, right? So, here's the thing, all right? We've taken Jasper to this vet for 3 straight years. The first year, they were still at the end of COVID. So back then, everyone was still wearing masks.
Like I said, pay attention to this chat because it's important. Don't pay that much attention. That's why I'm here to nitpick this shit. But pay attention. But open yourself up to that just a little bit.
Taking Jasper to this vet for 3 straight years. The first year, they were still at the end of COVID. So back then, everyone was still wearing masks here in Washington State, and you couldn't go in anywhere. It was like, oh God, it's like everyone has to have a fucking hazmat suit on. So you know, oh my goodness, here's Jasper.
Is that 9021 gout? That's savage. That's good. That's good.
Sir, you can't go back there with him. We'll take him into our sterile room, and we'll you know, examine him ourselves, and we'll tell you the findings. It was like, what the hell is this? You know, stupid COVID was so bad, and everyone was so afraid. Here in Washington was one of the worst. We were like some of the worst afraid states there were. So you couldn't do anything, right? Now, the good news is last year, all right, all that was finally over with. No more masks, no more being afraid. So last year, we took Jasper.
Not only were people wearing masks all over the world back then, but some people still do now. And some places still require it. So, it is what it is.
Same vet in the summer. We were allowed to go into the exam room with him. And here's the thing about Jasper, okay? Jasper Kitty absolutely hates being in the carrier. Whenever he's in that carrier, he's very upset and nervous. If he's in the car, he's panting and he's meowing. He's just afraid. He hates the carrier for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know if he had a traumatic experience in his past, but he hates the carrier. When he's out of the carrier, he is perfectly fine. So to give you an example, last year, they allowed us into an exam room, so we opened the carrier. He comes out in the exam room. He's having a blast. He's crawling on the desk. He's jumping all around. He's having fun. He actually enjoyed his vet visit last year because, you know, for the first time since COVID ended, you could go in the exam room. He was allowed to run around, have free reign. Had a great time, okay? And it was great. So I remember last year, the vet examined him, explained everything that the vet had found. They said he was a little bit on the overweight side. We need to cut down on his food, which we've done in the last year. All right, the good news is he lost some weight in this last year. You know, and a few other observations, you know, whatever. That was great. And by the way, it was quick. Like I remember last year, we basically waited in the waiting room maybe 10 minutes, got right into our room, our exam room. That was maybe like a 10-minute wait. Vet came in, exam, done. We were out within like 40 minutes, the whole visit was done. It was awesome, and we were on with our day, okay? So here's what happens this year, okay? So, I know, you already know what's going to happen. You already know it's going to be some fucking bullshit rigmarole, right? You ready for this? Okay. We show up early. We actually showed up 15 minutes early because we were hoping that if we showed up early, maybe we could get in exactly when our appointment was, and we could get out early to do the rest of the stuff we needed to do during the day because we had a very busy day planned.
Now, I want you to take this in for a minute because, one, he says this in a previous visit, too, that they showed up 15 minutes early, whatever the case may be. And he's saying right here, they showed up 15 minutes early in the hope that the moment that when their actual time for the appointment happens, they can just go ahead on in. That's what he's trying to say. But that story kind of gets switched around later on down the line. Secondly, you should probably show up 15 minutes for all engagements anyway. Period. It's just a good rule of thumb. So I don't know if he was expecting extra treatment. I don't know if he thought he was going to get a pat on his balding head for being responsible. I don't know what that was, but you know, it's a thing. But on top of that, chat, let's go back to what I said just a few minutes ago. If the food was 30 minutes fucking late, how did you show up to this appointment 15 minutes early? I'm being honest. If you expected the food to be there at 10:30 and it don't show up until like 11:15, how the fuck did you make it to your appointment 15 minutes early? I don't think you would have planned that far ahead. Semantics. I'm just asking. Maybe I'm not giving him enough credit.
Well, we show up early, okay? And I'm not kidding you. This is what they tell us at the front desk. Oh, you're early? Well, we can't check you in until it's
exactly, Kevin. I don't think there was an appointment. I think they just walked in. But either way, you know what I'm saying? Either way, let's play to his bullshit. Swine Punk, 2007. I like that. They more than likely showed up late anyway, just because of the food. So the common sense thing was there was probably no appointment. If we want to pick his bullshit apart, as I normally do, they were more than likely late to their appointment anyway, if they even had one.
For your appointment. What? Yeah, we're not allowed to check you in until it's time
Rain,
exactly.
Rain, going to your point, in 2020, they had a situation where you had to essentially drop your pet off in their carrier, and then you could pick them up at a designated time. So that right there coincides with what you're thinking already. It was said in like a 2020, one of his 2020 podcasts. I think I have that.
For your appointment. So you're just stuck. You came for no reason. Just sit here in the lobby. Great. Well, Jasper hates being in this carrier, and now he's stuck in the carrier for extra time because they don't care that we're there early. They just wait. All right, fine. So we wait, and then when it's time for our appointment, we check in. Okay. We then wait in the lobby for about another 10 to 15 minutes. So apparently they weren't ready regardless. And then a tech comes out. And the tech comes out and says, oh, you were early. I swear to God, this is what the tech says. She goes, oh, you were early. Well, the vet is late. Still on lunch.
Stutter. Think about what he's saying. If the tech comes out and says, oh, you're 15 minutes early, but the person at the front desk told you weren't getting in early, even if you showed up early. So there's already a discrepancy with that. Now he's saying that the technician comes out to get Jasper and says, oh, there's a delay because the actual doctor or vet is late or on lunch or whatever. Yet they still took Jasper. They still took him back. So what is it's almost like he had thought this out and it sounded really, really good with like the morning, I don't know, like the morning screwdriver. But then when he sat down and actually saying it, that shit don't make no damn sense. Or it sounds off. Like, that legitimately just doesn't sound right.
It's like, cuts herself off and changes what she was saying mid-sentence. Still at lunch. So, obviously, the tech inadvertently...
Oh, you mean like how, what was that shit he did? That Arnold fills the nigga... Oh, I mean, what? Like that, right? Where we just cut stuff off because we were thinking something, and we almost said it, and then we had to try to catch ourselves? I mean, if you weren't thinking it, you probably wouldn't have said it, but semantics.
The vet was late for work. Okay? So we can't get you in yet. You have to wait in the lobby, and once the vet is back from lunch, we'll let you in. But our appointment is at this time, and the vet's not here? Okay.
August, yeah, he probably could have done that, but they don't ever... He's not going to think that way. And then they don't take Jasper nowhere. Hence the reason why Jasper's so high fucking strong anyway. You know what I mean? Because he doesn't have his front claws, so how is he going to defend himself? I don't know. The same way any other declawed cat would probably defend themselves, I would think. He still has fangs, right? He still has teeth, right, Phil? He can still bite, right? And that he fucked you up pretty good with his back claws. So I'd like to think that he's not completely without defense, but whatever.
So what is going on? Now, in the meantime, other people are coming in with their pets. There was someone who came in with 2 chihuahuas. They were let in within 5 minutes into an exam room, and you could hear the doctor over there examining and dealing with the chihuahuas, having a great time in the room. Another person comes in with a cat and a carrier. They're allowed right into an exam room. It's only us that are stuck in this lobby waiting with Jasper and his carrier. Now, if you add up the time, it's been over a half an hour he's sitting here in his carrier in the lobby, and we're not even allowed in yet.
Which means there was probably no appointment. Do I think there's a second pet or a second cat or whatnot? If there was, I think we'd see it by now. given how Jasper can run in and out of the office at any given time. That's just an assumption on my part. I could be completely off. This asshole could easily have another cat or something locked downstairs somewhere. Who could say? But I feel like if that was the case, we would have seen him by now. But you never know. You never know.
Finally, you know, the tech is there, and I'm like, well, how long are we going to wait? What is going on? So the tech says, all right, we're going to take him in. The tech takes Jasper in, but not us. What? So now Jasper's in there by himself without us in the room, and we're not allowed to come in. Why not? The people with the chihuahuas are in the room. The woman with the other cat just went into the room. Why can't we go in? No, you stay in the lobby. Okay? All right. So they take Jasper
I don't know,
in.
Phil. It's been really hot this summer. Swine flu is still a thing. You barely bathe. I don't blame them for wanting to keep the spam out in the lobby. I don't really blame them for that.
5 minutes. I'm not kidding. I timed it. 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, they take Jasper back out and hand it back to us in the carrier. And I'm
Now,
like,
real quick, the other night, when DSP was getting his ass handed to him and shit, fresh off a pig's ass and making me homesick, he sat there and was like, I gotta take a break, guys. I gotta take a break. I'm just so frustrated right now. I need to take a break. He's like, I'm gonna be gone for 5 minutes. The dude was gone for definitely 10. I think someone said it was like 12 minutes. But the point is he was gone more than 5 minutes. It is a great screenshot. That's what happens when Tyrone's about to walk in. He's like, where the snacks at, son? Anyway. But DSP has a really fucked up warp type of situation or sense when it comes to time. So completely disregard his 5 minutes of bullshit.
did you...
Yeah, he's basically mad because he didn't have an appointment. They walked in thinking that it was going to be all, you know, Hallmark cards and bubblegum and shit, and there's probably not going to be a lot of people there, and they were forced to wait because they didn't plan. This idiot will pre-order DoorDash, but he won't make an appointment for his cat son. Womp womp.
Don't worry, the vet will be right with you. We wait another 20 minutes. So now Jasper has been in his carrier over an hour, and it's not even clear if they examined him or not. We don't know what happened yet. Okay? So now we've been there an hour. Finally, a woman who they... Oh, I'm the vet. You should have seen this woman. All right? She comes out
Capri
first.
Suns are the shit. So I'm not mad if Tyrone got himself a Capri Sun. The Capri Suns are the shit.
First of all, everyone else that's working there has their like nurse / tech garb on, so you can tell they work there. It says the name of the vet. This woman comes out in gray sweat clothes. It looks like she literally just came in off the street, maybe from jogging. I'm not sure. Her hair, you can literally tell she was late for work because her hair is dripping wet. You could tell what happened is she came in and just quickly brushed or combed her hair with water before she came out to the lobby. It literally had just been combed because it was wet as shit, right? So she comes out not dressed for work with wet hair. Okay, so is that Jasper? Wait, what? You're the vet. Didn't you just examine him? Oh, is that Jasper? Okay, so here's what we found. Okay?
Okay,
So-
a couple things. One, he's taking shots at the vet because that's just what he does. For all you know, that vet had maybe went off to lunch and had a family emergency. Maybe they hit the gym and they were running a little late. Maybe they're filling in for somebody else. There's all kinds of reasons for that. There really is. The technician already looked at them. I'm not even sure if the nurse, or not the nurse, but if the veterinarian even had a chance to look at his sheet. I'm not even sure. But it's possible. But you're literally making a mountain out of a molehill over nothing. This is what people deal with every fucking day. This is not that big of a deal, man. It's really not. It sucks that Jasper is being confined the way he is, but yet again, I mean, you could pull Jasper out of there. You and Catherine are there. You are his parents, or whatever. You guys couldn't hold him. I don't know. Whatever. Maybe they don't allow that. I don't know. I'm just asking.
here's what the vet says. First of all, well, has he ever had blood work? And I'm like, you work here. He's been here for 3 years. You don't know if he's had blood work yet. So I said, no, he hasn't had blood work. He's never had a reason to have blood work. I never had a serious illness or whatever. So, you know, he never had that, you know. So he's here for his exam and his rabies vaccine, right? So they said, okay, well...
Misery, that's actually a fair point, too. We don't know if maybe she had dealt with a patient beforehand and maybe it got a little messy or whatever the case may be. You don't know. No one, I mean, no, you don't know. There's no possible way of figuring that out. But DSP doesn't want to give anybody the benefit of the doubt. He's quick to be like, oh, this is what happened to me. This is why my situation is the way it is. Deal with it. But when it's done to him, it's like, well, why the fuck aren't you a professional? Why don't you have your shit together? What the fuck is wrong with this office or this business? And then gets into these restaurant analogies and shit. Like he doesn't have anything else to draw from. Phil, you did customer service for the helicopter company for multiple years. I would think you could give me a better example of a situation other than a restaurant. But that's the first thing he goes back to. Which leads me to think, I'll save that. But it makes me think that he just doesn't value people who are in the food industry. Like they're nothing more than serfs. Like, oh, this is all you could get, so, you know, I would expect you to be better at it. He also gives that same notion off when it comes to retail and with Catherine, in a lot of ways, or Kat. I feel like he has that same type of animosity there, too. But, semantics.
You know, we think he should have blood work. Why? Well, you know, it's a routine thing for these cats. Every few years they should have blood work. It's a way to check for diseases. It's a way to check for this or that. I'm like, all right, so let's be real here. Let's talk cost.
Let's talk cost because, you know, Jasper doesn't mean much to me outside of the price tag that's attached to his ass. So, we think he needs blood work. What the fuck he needs blood work for? Oh, well, we think it's something that should happen every couple of years. You mean something that should happen every year? You mean once a year you should be bringing him in and we should be doing blood work to make sure he doesn't have some underlying cause of something. That's what I think should have been said. Because if not, then what the fuck are you taking him there for? Are you taking him there for rabies and maybe for fleas and that's it? What are we doing? Like, what the fuck are we doing? And as we get deeper into the shit, I brought this up on Agent Proper stream. Big ups to Proper. I brought up the thing about, hey, DSP said something about pet insurance and all of this beforehand too. I think his mother even helped him with it. And I have those. I have some of these clips, if you will. So how is he going to wiggle his way out of it? But anyway, Jasper has a price tag on his life. Let's make sure that we understand that. And fuck the blood work, because what the fuck's he need blood work for? If he dies, I'll just get another one, and Catherine probably won't even be able to tell the difference. Right, Kat? My wife agrees with me as I give her this oversized thumb.
Blood work. Why? Well, you know, it's a routine thing for these cats. Every few years they should have blood work. It's a way to check for diseases. It's a way to check for this or that. I'm like, all right, so let's be real here. Let's talk cost. What do I owe you now? And what am I going to owe you if we have blood work? Okay? So he goes, well, for the exam and the rabies vaccine today, it's $109. Okay? But if we do the blood work, it's $450. What? And I was like, $450? But there's nothing wrong with him. Why do I want you to do $350 blood test? Right?
To make sure there's nothing wrong with him. And on top of that, going back to what I just said, if you have insurance on Jasper or some type of pet insurance, I would think that would kind of balance some of that out. Speaking of which, going back to Proper, he had said that Mrs. Proper had said it would cost about $150, about $150, maybe $200, give or take. So it's not this huge deficit that DSP is trying to make it out to be. I don't have the exact figure, but if Proper pops in, he can clarify. But it's not nearly as much. So DSP is like adding inflation onto what's being told, what he's telling here. And DSP is good for that. He's good about lying about prices and this, that, and the third. But here's the thing. He doesn't look at it as, dude, I sound like a fucking asshole putting a price tag on fucking Jasper. Oh, well, there's nothing wrong with him. There's nothing wrong with him. Yeah, there was nothing wrong with you weeks before your fucking ear infection. And then after that, we started getting bitch pictures on fucking Instagram of you tilted on your fucking pillow, crying and complaining like a bitch. There was nothing wrong with you the weeks before that, right? But then all of a sudden, oh, I got to go to this ear and nose and throat doctor. Oh, I got to go to this appointment here. I'm trying to get medication and I can't because they won't deliver it right to my house. I don't... Remember all that nonsense? What's up, Aladdin? Big ups to everybody in chat. You remember that nonsense? And you were okay, you know, the weeks prior to that, or the weeks before that. Shit happens. We should be very grateful, and I know I get a lot of slack for this, but I'm still going to stand by it. We should be glad they didn't have kids. We should be really glad they didn't have kids. You really can't trust either one of them. And even if you did trust Catherine, right, you can't trust Phil. It's too much of an inconvenience to his time and to his money. Just something to think about.
But this vet is actually like hard selling me on getting this blood test. Like, he's not sick. You know? And she kept pushing it. She's like, no, really, I'm telling you, I'm recommending you should do. I was like, we're not doing the blood test, all right? This is ridiculous. Like, we're not doing this blood test. He came here for one thing. This is absolutely ridiculous. So, by the way, at this point, we don't even know if he received his vaccine or anything. This vet told us nothing.
So, we're pissed off because you felt like you were getting upsold on a blood test that you felt Jasper didn't need. So, you're already super mad about that. You big mad about that. Then, you're like, wait a second. I'm about to pay you guys for a treatment that I don't even think you guys even gave him? And then he's vague about what that's supposed to be, too. Something to think about. Also, someone brought up in the chat, do we know for sure that he even worked at the helicopter company? For all we know, he wasn't doing what he said he was doing. But do I believe he was sitting in front of a desk doing customer service? Yeah, I do. I absolutely believe that's what the fuck he was doing. I believe that he was making more than he probably should have been because of Daddy. And he couldn't move up because he was a fuckboy and everybody saw it. And he was literally there riding his father's coattails. He probably only got into that A certification class because his father pulled strings to get him in there. In the hopes that, hey, maybe if he has something under his belt, because DSP is someone that needs praise, right? Maybe if he gets this certification, maybe he'd be willing to go after other certificates, and maybe he'd be willing to actually try to move up in the company instead of sit down here like a fucking drone who comes in late, who comes in drunk, who's complaining about his back. My back hurt. My back hurt. Talking about his back hurts and he needs a special chair. So who could say? So
the vet says, all right, well, I'll be back. And goes into the back and disappears, I shit you not, for another 20 minutes. 20 minutes. And then...
All right, real quick. Big ups to Goji in the chat, man. I saw what happened with you and Jose the other night. That was some bullshit. First off, I saw what happened to you in that unrecorded segment DSP did, because DSP is a bitch. And then I saw what he did to you and Jose later on that night. That's fucked up. Because you didn't do anything and whatnot. And truth be told, if DSP really believed in this bullshit community night nonsense, he'd have let you play. He'd have let you and Jose actually sit there and get a chance to actually go at him and see what's what. So him dropping you, initially I thought he did it out of being petty, which he is petty. But I think also he's concerned. I don't think he believes he can beat you or Jose, and that's why. Because if he was confident, then why wouldn't he have played you guys? So big ups to you and Jose, man. But I also thought it was bullshit what happened to y'all. I thought it was absolute bullshit what happened to y'all.
Comes back again. Well, never comes back. We never saw the vet again. If that even was the vet. I don't know. There was nothing on the person to say they were the vet. Okay? Finally, the vet tech comes out again. So now we've been here almost 90 minutes. Jasper's been in this carrier, and he's very upset. He hates being in the carrier. And he's been in here for 90 minutes. By the way, we weren't allowed into the room. If he even saw a room, I don't even fucking know. Right?
Aladdin, yeah, I probably should. I do have a project coming up though with with some of DSP's bullshit. That makes a good screenshot, by the way. That we'll see. And big ups, Robert. Yeah, some of what I've said so far, some of the stuff that I said on proper stream, you're gonna see here. But you'll also see as the stream goes on, because I went back and re-listened to it, that you'll see why I decided to do this project as a whole. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you'll kind of see what my thought process is a little bit as you watch a proper stream and why we're at where we're at. Yeah, that was bullshit what he did, Goji. That was fucking lame. I wasn't expecting that. I was thinking, oh, here's Goji Tanks, and I thought he would take you head on. But he took the coward's way out, as one should have suspected. I gave him a little too much fucking credit, which is the reason why I don't give DSP credit. And look at what he did.
I have no clue. And, you know, what you want to talk about a night and day experience. Last year, they're nice, they're kind. Within 20 minutes, we're in the
this
exam
is
room.
literally, this is a lot like the Leanna situation. Like, he didn't learn anything from that. We've literally gone, we've gone even further. And remember, you know, sometime later on after the Leanna rant, oh, I was just putting on a show for you guys because I didn't have to worry about the $1,200 or $1,000 or whatever it was that she was going to have to pay to the hospital. That wasn't on me, but I didn't want you guys to know that we were broken up. The fuck?
Out of the character, he's out of the carrier. He's playing. He's enjoying himself. He's having a good time, right? He gets his vaccine, which is quick. We're out of there within 40 minutes. We're 90 minutes into yesterday's visit, and we don't even know what's happened yet. I was ready to walk out. Kat was very upset. She was like, I want to get out of here. This is absolutely ridiculous. I said, if they don't come within 5 more minutes, we're leaving. And then they can figure out how to bill us. Because I've had enough of this. This is fucking ridiculous. How we're being treated, right? So, finally, the vet tech comes out again, not the vet, and says, all right, we're all set. I said, what do you mean you're all set? Well, we're ready to go. What do you mean you're ready to go? Did he get his vaccine? Oh, yeah, when we brought him back before, we examined him, we got him his vaccine, he's good to go. You didn't tell us. We've been sitting here an hour and a half, you never even told us that you did that, right? So I go up to the front, and I pay for the exam of the vaccine, and they give me that tag that says that he's been vaccinated or whatever. And they hand me a ton of paperwork. Now, I don't know what any of this paperwork is, okay? I wouldn't know until I have a chance to read it. And I said, we got Jasper home. We had a ton of shit to do. We had to go grocery shopping. We had to do a ton of stuff. So later that night, all right, I come home, and it's time. Let's read the paperwork. It's like 8, 9 p.m. now, right? So I start reading the paperwork. And on the paperwork, all of a sudden, it says all this shit on the paperwork that this vet never told us about. All right? Number one, it explains the whole vaccination process. It says last year he got his first dose. This year's the booster. Now that he got the booster, he doesn't need a rabies vaccine for 3 more years. So we don't have to worry about getting him back to the vet for his vaccine next summer. It's taken care of. Cool. We got 3 years to wait till 2026. Did the vet tell us that? No. Never explained. Another thing, and this really got me.
If you've been taking him there since 2020 and he got his first vaccination shot in 2022, then what happened the other 2 years then? Was he even vaccinated at all? Or we just took him there for the urinary tract infection and that was it? Womp womp.
Okay. There's something on there that we absolutely should have known. The vet didn't tell us. It says Jasper is starting to show early signs of a little bit of dental plaque. Now it's early. What you can do is you can do like dental treats. You buy cat dental treats and things, and it'll actually start cleaning their teeth nicely. And as long as you do it regularly, it should not be a problem at all. He should be good. All right. But it even says on there, some cats, it doesn't actually help using the dental treats, and long term they might need to get tooth cleanings. All right. So keep an eye on it. The vet didn't fucking say that at all. Now, after...
Wait. I need to bring this back to you because this reminds me of something. Does anybody in chat know what this may remind me of? Here, let me play it again for you. That reminds me of something. That legitimately reminds me of something.
Like dental treats. You buy cat dental treats and things, and it'll actually start cleaning their teeth nicely. And as long as you do it regularly, it should not be a problem at all. He should be good. All right? But it even says on there, some cats, it doesn't actually help using the dental treats, and long term they might need to get tooth cleanings. All right, so keep an eye on it. The vet didn't fucking say that at all. Now, after the vet appointment, during our day out, we went to the pet store. And we actually bought Jasper things. We could have bought him the dental treats. But we didn't know we needed to get them because the vet didn't fucking say anything. Okay?
Okay, Tractor Goose, good. That was a good guess. That was actually legitimately a good guess. Agent of Chaos, yeah. It reminds me of the oil change back in Connecticut for the fucking BMW. Oh, how did I know I was supposed to do that, dude? They never called and told me that it was time for me to get my oil changed. How was I supposed to know? It legitimately, that's what that shit sounds like. And this is what I've how do I word this? This is what I've tried to express to people, that DSP is very much a creature of habit. And so if you look at certain scenarios, and if you go back far enough, you'll find something else to you find something to reference that to. Like, legitimately, that's why it's very I wouldn't say it's easy because there's so much bullshit to go through, but it is easy for people to get into detractor lore, or DSP lore, I should say, and really be able to grasp it, because he double taps and triple taps a lot. He makes the same mistake over and over and over again, and he'll do it over the span of years. But if you go back far enough, you can catch it, or you can find it. So this mistake that you made with the fucking BMW that you paid all that extra money for the premium package, right? Never took it to the dealership at all to ever get serviced, yet you were paying for this premium package on it. Now Jasper needs, oh yeah, he needs to be checked for dental. Yeah, his vision needs to be checked. You know, stuff like that. Oh, well, no one called me, so how was I supposed to know that? How were we supposed to know that? Jasper could have rotting teeth. He doesn't. At least I hope not. But dude could have rotting teeth, and you're not going to know because, oh, well, no one told us. And then even if they were going to tell you, Phil, how are they going to go about it? You guys don't have a home phone. Everything is going to be, so either they're going to call you or email you. You don't pick up the phone for numbers you don't recognize. We can all back that up if you've watched enough of this bullshit. And emails go to spam. So the only reason why he's showing up, I think, he's showing up to these yearly appointments is because he's hardwired to remember, oh, Jasper needs to go to get his checkup somewhere between June and August. Or if Jasper gets another UTI. That's essentially it. That's essentially it. Speaking of which, someone brought up the bank leaks. Did anybody remember anything at all as it pertains to a vet visit, a doctor visit, anything off the top? I'm not asking anybody to go back and look. I'm just curious, just wondering.
So literally, we went to the vet for an hour and a half. Jasper was
wait a second. Now that I think about it, the bank leaks are irrelevant because supposedly that wasn't him, right? Because didn't Josh from Kiwi Farms go over that clip where DSP said someone got their identity stolen, but that person wasn't him? So all of those leaks that came from Bank of America wasn't his account. Didn't he say something along those lines? The fuck? I'm on. I promise you, Dawson, I'm on that. I'm on it. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I have that clip where he brings it up because it was not long after Jasper got unveiled. Just something to think about.
5 minutes, and literally the vet told us none of the information that we should have known while we were there, and expected us to just figure it out later by reading this giant stack of fucking paperwork that they gave us to go home with. Okay?
Hold on. So he's giving a bitch fit because they gave him all of that documentation to go over, which is what you're supposed to do, Phil. Now you're mad because you had to read something? Oh boy.
And we actually bought Jasper things. We could have bought him the dental treats, but we didn't know we needed to get them because the vet didn't fucking say anything. Okay? So literally, we went to the vet for an hour and a half. Jasper was seen for 5 minutes. And literally, the vet told us none of the information that we should have known while we were there, and expected us to just figure it out later by reading this giant stack of fucking paperwork that they gave us to go home with.
Well, that's the reason why they gave you the records, Phil. So you could go over it. Especially since Phil, they were trying to tell you about the blood test. She may have been willing to tell you about anything else that may have came up too, but you weren't trying to hear it. Remember, cost, you know what I'm saying, out prioritized Jasper's actual, way of life, or quality of life, if you will. You chose money, or your finances, over Jasper's well-being. She probably didn't feel a need to say anything else to you. Hey, just give them the documentation, and if they read it, hopefully they read it, then they can figure out what they want to pull next. I mean, to be honest with you, and not to shame, fuck you, Phil. What kind of a broke bitch do you sound like? Having someone come up to you in a fucking veterinarian office or even a doctor's office and say, "Hey, we think you might need a blood test. Hey, you may need an STD test." Well, you would have to have sex to have that happen, Phil. Anyway, you may need to have a blood test, Phil. Oh, well, how much is that going to cost? Do you know what that makes you look like? Do you not know how weird that sounds? And don't be wrong, people have their situations financially and this, that, and the third. But to a nurse or to a doctor, the moment you start talking cost, it makes people... How do I word this? How do I word this in a way if, like, Asian GTG was here? If you put money over the well-being of yourself or your family, people will find a reason to not prioritize you. If that makes sense. Because your priorities are not where they need to be. The cost should be damned. Oh, Jasper needs a blood test? Oh, okay. Can you tell me when the last blood test that he had was? Okay, well, if you think that he needs it, then let's go ahead and get it. But Jasper's never had a blood test, which is what you exposed yourself on here. So you ain't had Jasper since at least late 2018, and he's never had no blood work. So how are you going to tell me, or anybody else, that Jasper's had a full physical? It sounds like you just take him to get vaccinated, maybe flea and pest treatment, maybe, and that's it. Other than that, you're not doing shit else for Jasper. So who knows what kind of situation he was in? Wasn't it only like a year or two ago Jasper was running around the house throwing the fuck up, and they said they didn't know what the fuck was going on? You remember that, right, Phil? Remember that situation, right? How inconvenienced you were on that? This is wild. But he's so quick to tell you, Jasper's my family and I love him. Fuck out of here.
So, after that, we are not going back to this vet. And it's a shame because we actually had a great experience with this vet last year. We thought the vet was great. Now that COVID was over and you're able to go into the exam rooms with your pet again, we had a great time. He had a great time. I have pictures on my phone of Jasper having a blast at the vet last year. I'm not even kidding. Let's see if I can find it. Gotta go all the way back here. Hold on.
Now, here's another thing, too, I want to point out to you, right? As someone who, DSP will tell you, he has his own business and this, that, and the third, right? He's his own proprietor. DSP will shit all over anybody and everybody who comes to him and doesn't like how he presents his streams, doesn't like how he treats the people in the chat or the people who contribute to him, and say, you're an asshole for not giving me the benefit of the doubt. I made a mistake. I'm only human and all that other bullshit. And if you're going to just pick up and leave, then I don't want you here because you see the world as black and white, and it's more, the world is more than just that. But you had one situation, which is probably not even true, by the way, but you had one situation with this veterinarian at the vet office. And now all of a sudden, oh, well, fuck them. We're not going back. Over a little thing. A thing that's your fault. Because what have we established so far? There was probably never an appointment. They just tried to walk in. Right? He wasn't prepared to pay the cost to try to make sure Jasper was on the up and up. He just wanted Jasper to essentially get vaccinated for rabies because God knows Jasper is snarling at the fucking jaw and at the fucking mouth and shit, looking to bite him and give him the rabies virus. And that's essentially it. You guys aren't keeping up with Jasper's dental at all. He hasn't had blood work ever. So God knows what he really has and what he don't have. And so he's putting all the responsibility on the vet. Oh, and then they had this huge stack of documents that probably goes through on, hey, going through Jasper's files, we don't see him ever having any blood work done, or at least he didn't have any blood work done here, so maybe you should consider doing that. So DSP is literally putting all the responsibility and all of his shortcomings onto the vet's office. That's wild. It's not unsurprising though, but it's wild that he would do that. And now he wants to run away from his responsibilities, which is what DSP does. That's what happened in the FGC. He ran his mouth, people let him go, then next thing you know, Jaha and fucking Mike Watson got him into that fucking, got him in that parking lot. DSP had to suck dick so he didn't get beat up, and then all of a sudden he wanted out of the FGC. When he's confronted with a problem of his own making, he runs. He's not willing to stand tall on nothing. He wants to run. And then more importantly than that, and I'm sure someone's probably said in the chat, but where was Catherine at? Where was Kat? Where was her opinion on this? Why didn't she say, hey, I want Jasper to get the blood test? Why didn't she speak up for Jasper? I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to give these people too much credit.
Almost. It's Christmas. Here it is. Here's Jasper at the vet last year when they let him into the exam room and he was chilling on the counter. He's having fun. He had a great
time. Okay, real quick. What is this about DSP showing his phone off all of a sudden? Like, has he figured out, like, how to hide his notifications now so he feels safe? What's going on with this? Because back during the interview, and even before that, oh, I can't show you my phone. I got to protect my family. Now, all of a sudden, we're just throwing it out there, phone and hoof, like it's no big deal. So what changed all of a sudden? Oh, they got me dead the rights on WWE Champions, so fuck it? I've already admitted to playing that Street Fighter mobile game, which is going to be, they have a booth at EVO, by the way. I've already admitted to playing in that, so they can't catch me on anything there either? What's the point of all this?
You know, not in the carrier the whole time. That was August of 2022.
Which goes back to my timeline as it pertains to when some of these vet appointments are, by the way. He's confirming it.
It's like a completely different fucking place. Like, you know, what happens to these places? How is it that in a year they completely changed their entire process? Why did everyone else around us get to go into a room with their pet but not us? Why were we rushed in and out for 5-minute exam but kept there for 90 minutes? Why was the vet late? Because that's the truth. The problem is, I think, here's what I really think happened. The vet is basically, we got the worst vet in the place, right? They were already late for work, so we had to wait extra just for the vet to show up. And then when they showed up, it was a rush job. Oh, he's just here for his yearly exam. All right, get him in quick. Let's do this fast. Okay, we're done. On to the next. Well, they're still here. Oh, shit, I got to go out there and talk to them. Oh, man. Oh, now I got to do my hair. And runs out in the sweat clothes. Hey, everyone. So just so you know, by the way, let's upsell on a $300 blood test. And let's try to scam the fucking poor people out of $300 that we definitely don't need to spend, but they're being idiots.
Couple of things. One, someone pointed out in chat. You're absolutely right. He does treat people. He's quick to try to get over on people because he automatically assumes people will get over on him. You're absolutely right with that, because that's just what kind of scumbag he is. And then he gets into these fantasy scenarios, and don't get me wrong, I'm someone who I pull my bullshit theory crafting too, but he gets into these fantasy scenarios like the whole fucking office was conspiring against him and Catherine to try to pull another $300 out of him or some nonsense. I'll play the rest of this the rest of this segment, and then I'll bring it back so you can hear the fucking madness, because that's all that is. How's it, like, I understand he's been losing it as of late, especially mentally. Like, mentally he's deteriorating. I get it. But this nonsense, even the vet is trying to get you in your pity bucks? This is what it's coming down to. And then that whole thing with the garbage disposal, he clearly was hoping to finesse a couple of $1,000s out of people, and it didn't happen. He didn't get the large influx of pity bucks. So now you got this situation. Oh, look at these people at the vet office trying to fuck me over and trying to get all this money out of me. And then, Phil, did you just call yourself poor?
I gotta do my hair. And runs out in the sweat clothes. Hey everyone, so just so you know, by the way, let's upsell on a $300 blood test. And let's try to scam the fucking poor people out of $300 that we definitely don't need to spend, but they're being idiots about it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I made like no money on this visit today, so let's try to upsell them to make profit. Right? It's exactly what it was. A $300 fucking blood test. You know? Like, are you out of your mind? So...
You hear that shit? Absolute madness! Absolute fucking madness! They tried to upsell you on a $300 blood test so they could make quota, so they could make profit. Who talks like that? See, Phil's never gone to another country before, but like, dude, Phil, especially if you go to, because Asian GTGs told me about this. In some of those Asian countries, bruh, if you don't have the money, you don't get a bed. You don't get a bed. You sit there and you wait. And you could wait there for days. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he legitimately does. This is a great screenshot, especially the way fucking how slanted his mouth is and his snort sacks and everything. This is a fantastic fucking screenshot. I should take this shit. Anyway, it's amazing what this motherfucker will bitch about. And here's the thing: if you're a decent person, you're not out here believing people are going to lie to you about the dumbest shit. Or people are trying to get over on you. You got to be a real piece of work to believe everybody's out to get you, everybody's out to fuck you over, this, that, and the third. And usually that comes from the fact that you do that yourself. I would say guilt, but that's, yet again, I've given DSP way too much credit today as it is. We're not doing that again. But it's a thing. It's really a fucking thing. And going back to something that Silent Weapon said, if you really look at the snort sacks, right, and you look at how they come down, that does look like the Ultimate Warrior type paint, the Ultimate Warrior's face paint. It legitimately looks like that. I'm sorry that I'm putting so much emphasis on this, but I'm not sorry. Look at that. The snort sack comes across, right, just under the eye, and it comes down. If you painted that a color, it is what that is. If you really think about it. Holy shit.
For 90 minutes. Why was the vet late? Because that's the truth. The problem is, I think, here's what I really think happened. The vet is basically, we got the worst vet in the place, right? They were already late for work. So we had to wait extra just for the vet to show up. And then when they showed up, it was a rush job. Oh, he's just here for his yearly exam. All right, get him in quick. Let's do this fast. Okay, we're done. On to the next. Well, they're still here. Oh, shit, I got to go out there and talk to them. Oh, man. Oh, and I got to do my hair. And runs out in the sweat clothes. Hey, everyone. So just so you know, by the way, let's upsell on a $300 blood test. And let's try to scam the fucking poor people out of $300 that we definitely don't need to spend, but they're being idiots about it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I made like no money on this visit today, so let's try to upsell them to make profit. Right? It's exactly what it was. A $300 fucking blood test. You know? Like, are you out of your mind? So, we're not going back. We're done. You know? And it's sad because, like I said, last year it was completely different. I felt like it was a great vet a year ago. And then somehow this all changed. You know, in the last year, and now it's a completely different business. Like, I would never go back there after that. That was such a horrible experience. Right? So, yeah, so that's it. So anyway, that was our experience, and it sucked because, you know, this is something that we were hoping would be under an hour. All in all, with that taking so long and the driving, it was over 2 hours out of our day, and now we were way behind. So we didn't actually get to do everything.
See, if you had made an appointment, he kind of exposed himself here. If he had made an appointment, this wouldn't have happened. This wouldn't have happened. Holy shit, this would not have happened. So, let's confirm a couple stuff here. A couple of things here, I should say. We're poor, apparently. DSP and Catholic are poor. We've got $5,000 a month in business expenses going on, and we couldn't fork over $300 to get blood work once a year for Jasper? Are you fucking serious? So we're broke, apparently, according to Phil. His words, not mine. They're broke. They're poor. Still got $5,000 plus in business expense. Someone just pointed it out in chat. $100,000 a year is what we're making. $100,000 plus a year is what we're making, and we couldn't afford $300. So, as someone else has just pointed out, what is it? Is it going to be Hogan or is it going to be Jasper? Which one outweighs the other? Ghost Hunter, big ups. Who wins in this? Jesus Christ, that's scary.
That we were supposed to do or wanted to do yesterday. You know, we got maybe half the stuff that we wanted to do. We had a lot of things lined up, and we're like, well, we're too tired. We don't have time to do it. What are you going to do, right? So it is what it is. You know, it's pretty sad. It's pretty sad that that's how we were treated after having such a great experience last year. Out here, there's a lot of competition for pet healthcare. There's a ton of vets. There's a ton of these places. So why they think they're going to do well in an environment when you have direct competition literally right around the corner, I don't get. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens moving forward. Hopefully, we find a better one, you know. The ex-Mata says, do you ever thought to ask them why the visit went like that? Yeah, it's called customer feedback, which you're supposed to give after your visit. Oh, we're going to give it to them. Don't get me wrong. There's no we're going to give them the feedback that they deserve, and they're going to understand why we're not ever going there ever again after being treated like that, you know? The point
DSP,
is,
this isn't a restaurant fucking review and shit. This isn't like, you know what I'm saying? This isn't like a Yelp review, my dude. Like, it should be taken a little bit more seriously. I would think. I would fucking think.
Matter why, the fact that it happened is bad enough. I don't care. Oh, it was an extenuating circumstance. Well, I don't want to be your extenuating circumstance. I want to go somewhere where I'm treated like everyone else. Not that we're the ones sitting in the waiting room for 90 minutes while everyone else got to go into a room, and we just sit here with our cat and our carrier for that time, and you don't do anything, and you want to upsell me on a $350 blood test. Like, get the fuck out of here. So, yeah, that's that. And, you know, they'll get our feedback, and it is what it is. It sucked. It sucks to even have to talk about it, but, you know, something to vent about, something to tell you want to know about what happened on my day off. That's what happened on my day off, okay? All right, let's talk about today. Let's talk about the schedule, okay? So, someone literally just said the entitlement. Wow, you're a fucking idiot. You think that a consumer be asking to be treated like all the other consumers in the same business and getting the money, you're getting what they pay for, getting a good experience, especially when there's competition in the area, you think that's entitlement. No, you're an asshole. You're a complete idiot. Go fuck yourself. Okay, if you give me 1 second, I gotta blow my nose about to sneeze, and then we'll talk about the schedule for the week.
Now, yet again, when people... does he treat everybody who contributes to him, or every person who just pays in their time to show up to his streams, does he treat all of them equally? Hell no. He never has, and he never will. So how the fuck are you going to come off and say this bullshit and whatnot when you don't even treat people, your own quote-unquote customers to your business, you don't even treat them equally. You don't even really treat any of them with any real respect, to be honest with you. And then when someone calls you out on it, or wants clarification, if you will, you tell them to go fuck themselves. Jesus Christ.
I mean, it's a pretty dumb statement, don't you think? That's like you say, you go into a restaurant, a table of 4, you all order the same deal, 3 of you get your food at the same time, and it's all great quality. You have to wait an extra half hour to get your food, and when the food comes out, it's all fucked up, and then they want to charge you more for it than everybody else. But if you complain, that's entitlement. Wow. You people on the internet are real smart when you say shit like that, right? Anyway. Okay, so, let's talk about the schedule for the week. So today...
Yeah, I don't give a fuck about your schedule. So that's that. That's some pretty wild shit. But that's just only the start of it, to be honest. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to the Jasper reveal. Not the whole video. I've had liberties taken... I had liberties taken to really go into the more controversial parts of it. The really juicy, greasy parts of it. That's the part I want to focus on. And we'll see what time we have after that. But this is what we're going to hit next. And as most people in the chat have already pointed out, God forbid anything happen to Catherine. If Cat gets sick, God forbid what happens, what she's going to have to go through. This is unfucking fortunate. It really is. Because the way DSP does anything is the way he does everything. Allow me to repeat. The way DSP does anything is the way he does everything. So keep that in mind. So if Catherine really is putting on weight, if she really is getting hefty, trying to clean out all of those, all of the leftovers in the fridge before DSP just chucks that shit in the trash or whatever the case may be, she needs to start taking her health seriously. They both do, honestly. Well, they all three need to, really. But this is bad, man. This is really, really a sad situation. To where the addiction... Like, it was only a few weeks ago, we're sitting here taking shots of whiskey like it ain't no problem. Like, there ain't no issue. So you don't even have... He doesn't even have any money put away in case Jasper gets into a bad spot. We don't love him or care about him enough to even do that. Jesus Christ. All right, chat. Let's go ahead and go back down the memory lane. So we're looking at this is August 4th of 2019. The big reveal, meeting Jasper. If you guys know this, you guys mainly know this, that DSP was essentially running a fundraiser, and if they hit the goal or if they hit a certain mark, there would be a surprise, a special edition that would be for the streams moving forward. DSP was trying to raise $1,000. He barely made it, and Planet Jeff came in with the additional 1,000 to bring us up to the 2,000, 2,100, whatever the case may be. I have that here, and truth be told, Planet Jeff was the insurance policy anyway. He was always Planet Jeff was always waiting in the wings for that $1,000, and DSP's been fighting that till this very day because he knows it's true. He tried to scam as much money as he could get out of the audience, and then Planet Jeff was going to pop in later with the additional 1,000, or bring them over the 1,000 mark so they could have the reveal. It was all just one big fucking scam. No one's arguing that anymore except for DSP. All right, so here we go.
Here's a more. Oh, you lied to your fans and viewers for months. As I said, I have had to keep things private for a long time. Now, being an interactive streamer, people will sometimes ask me direct questions about stuff that I have to keep private. You're right. I'm not going to reveal every personal, private thing about my life on every fucking stream, right? So, you're right. I said I didn't have a pet for a long time until I was ready, until we were ready to do a reveal of it. So, that's why. It's for the protection of myself, my family. I'm not obligated to tell you anything about anything until I'm ready.
I don't know who's dark in the chat that he feels the need to do all that about. This is important for a couple of reasons, though. Remember, this is August of 2019. Catherine and Phil got married in April 10th, to be exact. The marriage was probably set up, or the whole trip to Connecticut, I should say. It was probably set up as early as the beginning of 2019, if not beginning of 2018. And remember, the only reason why DSP got all paranoid and he said he had to lie and do all this extra bullshit was he didn't want anybody breaking into the Snort Fort, kidnapping, or finding out that he has a cat, then kidnapping Jasper and holding him at ransom and shit and whatnot. It was a bunch of nonsense, but the point that I'm trying to make is, as it pertains to the wedding and how, it was a spur of the moment type thing and they didn't know whatever, it was all a lie. He had that was planned out for a minute, a hot minute, at least since the end of 2018. So just trying to give you a refresher on that. So this lying nonsense he's doing, or him trying to explain the lie, is bloat. It's a war of attrition that he's already lost. So keep that in mind. Here we go.
Here's a more. Oh, you lied to your fans and viewers for months. As I said, I have had to keep things private for a long time. Now, being an interactive streamer, people will sometimes ask me direct questions about stuff that I have to keep private. you're right. I'm not going to reveal every personal, private thing about my life on every fucking stream, right? So you're right. I said I didn't have a pet for a long time until I was ready, until we were ready to do a
real quick. Great screenshot. Yes, I do remember when Jasper was first introduced, and he said that his parents was going to help with the medical costs and toys and other peripherals too. I'm not sure if it's in this clip or not. Hopefully it is. But yeah, because I think I clipped this particular part kind of weird. I should have had someone who was more professional do it. So keep in mind, like if you see like towards the end of this that this 2,000 up here turns into 1,000 plus, you'll get it.
reveal of it. So that's why it's for the protection of myself, my family. I'm not obligated to tell you anything about anything until I'm ready.
Big ups, Hate Army. Big ups, everybody in the chat. Let me throw some Snort Bucks in the chat for y'all. Snort Bucks Coffee Company, the best beverage company.
How is the cat affecting my post-nasal drip? To my knowledge, he hasn't at all. It was bad before, and it's bad now. It hasn't gotten any worse since we got him, so. Well, Democrat says you had a cat for 6 months. Why keep it hidden? We actually had him longer than that. Because basically every time we reveal something about our personal lives, somehow people find a way to turn it against us. So I'll give you a perfect example.
You caught that, right? You've had this cat for 6 months, and this one. No, we had him longer than that. And this goes back to where this is where my theory really crunches on. So, trying to provide evidence, chat. All right, here we go.
It hasn't gotten any worse since we got him, so. Well, Democrat says you had a cat for 6 months. Why keep it hidden? We actually had him longer than that. Because basically every time we reveal something about our personal lives, somehow people find a way to turn it against us. So I'll give you a perfect example. Last year, we were in serious jeopardy of having to sell this house because we didn't know if we were going to be able to pay taxes, okay? Now, I'm doing tax fundraisers here on stream for tips, and you know what would have happened. Well, they have a cat. I don't believe that he's raising those funds for taxes in the house. They need to do something with the cat. They want to buy that cat a bunch of stuff. That cat needs an operation. That cat needs this and that. Horse shit, you know? But this is what these shitheads do.
Well, here's the thing. Theoretically, we weren't wrong because you did have a pet. He's exposing himself, so pay attention. Think about when the tax saga was in 2018, and think about this complaint right here. Theoretically, we were right. Because you had another mouth to feed, and you had all this other stuff going on that you weren't telling us about. On top of that, you weren't going to lose your fucking house, at least not in the early stages like that, over taxes. On top of that, wasn't this idiot in a fucking payment program at that time? Remember, he revealed the actual tax saga to us, well, the back state and occupation tax, and that was like September of 2017. You know what I'm saying? And then he went on and said, and then we moved Catherine in, February of 2018. So 2017 we had the tax problems. Moved Catherine in 2018, which probably means there wasn't any tax problems. He used that as an excuse to move Catherine in. Then we end up getting Catherine a cat later on in 2018. Then we end up getting married in 2019. You guys picking up what I'm putting down?
Do something with the cat. They want to buy that cat a bunch of house because we didn't know if we were going to be able to pay taxes, okay? Now, I'm doing tax fundraisers here on stream for tips, and you know what would have happened. Well, they have a cat. I don't believe that he's raising those funds for taxes in the house. They need to do something with the cat. They want to buy that cat a bunch of stuff. That cat needs an operation. That cat needs this and that. Horse shit. You know, but this is what these shitheads do. And we have enough shit going on in our lives that people already slander us about and you know, defamatory statements. We didn't need just another thing. So we just basically kept him a secret for a while. Plus, keep in mind...
Silent Weapon, you're right. He said in 2000... He must have gone almost a straight year without paying taxes. Because he went a decent amount of time not paying for his credit cards. Because... Look, give me a second. I can get this together. Okay. When they got married, remember, they got married in 2019, April, when DSP had the 10-year plan discussion with his mother, right? And he came home for that podcast after that. He said he wasn't going to pay for the mortgage in Connecticut anymore. I can't, and then he said that he stopped paying for his credit cards in like October later that year, which we found that out on the 341 call. Because that's when the guy on there was asking, when did DSP know he was insolvent? So, like, there's a lot of moving parts when it comes to this bullshit. But he stopped paying for the condo in 2019. Stopped paying. He said he couldn't pay his credit cards in late 2019. Probably wasn't paying his taxes at all in 2017. Well, no, he was paying his federal. He was paying his federal tax. He wasn't paying state and business occupation tax. Because that's why he got caught up in the first place. Because they notified him not long after Panda moved out. That's when all of a sudden he got caught flipping the bill on that nonsense. Holy shit. No, you don't have to worry. You don't have to try to remember all this. You don't. This is me just spurging. But if you think about it, he essentially coasted throughout 2018 and 2019. Holy shit. I didn't even really put that into perspective if you think about it. I didn't even really think about it that way. And here's the thing. Holy shit, here's the thing. This idiot was doing fundraisers, right, to pay for the state and business occupation tax, right? But then somewhere down the line, he stopped paying for the federal, too. Then all of a sudden, he started paying for the state and business occupation tax. Allegedly, he got that paid off. And then he's still trying to pick up for the business tax. I mean, then he's trying to pick up for his federal. But he was put on a payment plan, and his mother helped, at least try to help him bail his ass out on that. So where is all this money going? Because if you think about it, he was on a payment plan for the state and business occupation tax. He's been on a federal payment plan at least twice. At least twice he's been on that. Because there was a time where he said he couldn't even pay that. So what the fuck is this guy doing with his money? And he's still clearing $100,000 plus those years. And then, in 2020, when he had the vest streak, he theoretically could have brought himself out of everything. I mean, not brought himself out of everything, but he could have really cleared shit up in 2020. He could have really put himself in a good spot. If you really think about it, oh my gosh, it's all fucked up. Cube, it really is. Shit is all fucked up if you think about it. All right, we'll come back to that. Let's keep it. Let me keep it pushing. I'm sorry, guys. Let me keep pushing.
We knew we were going to be going to Connecticut in April. We didn't want any assholes getting ideas about, oh, let's come break into the house. And
I need you to hear this. That was another part. I should have timestamps for these things. My bad. Because there is a program in OBS where I can do that. I can set up timestamps for certain shit. He says, let me bring us back, though. He says that they knew that they were going to Connecticut in April. He doesn't say exactly when they knew they were going, but it goes back into my theory that they knew about it months in advance. Months in advance. Which only goes back into the fucking scam.
Defamatory statements. We didn't need just another thing. So we just basically kept him a secret for a while. Plus, keep in mind, we knew we were going to be going to Connecticut in April. We didn't want any assholes getting ideas about, oh, let's come break into the house and do stuff to their cat and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't want anyone knowing anything about anything private. All right? Better safe than sorry, as they say.
You hear how crazy that sounds? So he's admitting that, not only is he admitting that they've had Jasper far longer than they did, and he also knew that they were going to have the wedding far sooner than he tried to let on, but then he thought this shit was going to be like fucking Silence of the Lambs, and we were going to cut Jasper open and have him spread out and shit when they walk through the door and everything, like they did to that officer during that, what was it, in front of that, like, cage in that ballroom where Hannibal was being held. He thought that shit. And why would they harm Jasper? They would probably just take him. He'd be better off. Holy shit.
See, right here is an asshole. Right here is an asshole insulting me for having a cat. I knew it. I told you guys. I told you. We actually do have pet cat insurance that came with him. when we got him, and I believe we extended it for the year. I'm not 100% how much it covers or whatever, but it was very inexpensive.
I told you I got y'all. I don't have you on everything. Trust me, always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. I live up to my namesake, as well as being your favorite detractor's least favorite detractor. But I have y'all to at least some extent. I'll bring this back to you.
We actually do have pet cat insurance that came with him when we got him, and I believe we extended it for the year. I'm not 100% how much it covers or whatever, but it was very inexpensive. Human Hypocrisy Cheers says, people have asked for ages if you're going to get a pet. How can we trust you if you're going to lie to our faces about stuff? Same thing with the wedding. Human Hypocrisy, if you don't understand that protecting myself and my family is more important than being 100% transparent with my viewing audience who's here to watch me play games, then I will never convince you anything. Like, you have to be a mature adult to understand that the protection of myself and my family is more important than just telling you 100% truth every time someone asks a question. That's
Look at that gouty gun. Look at that shit. You damn near bursting out of that fucking out of that Mario shirt. Speaking of the gun, did you see that you see what's going on with Ralph? I'm gonna let Proper go over that and whatnot, but that shit is nuts. And then I think Ralph was on stream with Josh from Kiwi Farms recently. So it's literally turning into friend of my friend, or the enemy of my enemy is my friend type shit, because everybody's going at Nick Fuentes right now and shit. It's a mess. It's a mess over there with that nonsense. But I'll let Proper deal with that shit. What's up, Chiyo? Holy shit, look at them. It's a fucking mess. Okay, enough of derailing. Let's get back on subject. Holy shit, look at that gun. Look at that gouty gun.
That's an immature feeling of black and white. And if you don't understand the difference that the world is not black and white, I can't help you. Sorry, but that's just your own shortcomings, not mine.
Wait, so you're a liar. We're calling you out for you're admitted to being a liar. How can we trust you again if you're prone to lying to us? Oh, it's a shortcoming. If you don't understand that I've made this hypothetical situation where I could die and my family could die too, if you can't see the distress that I was put in, what led to me lying, then that's a shortcoming on you, not me. It's not my fault that I lied. It's your fault for not understanding why I lied. Is that it? Does that sound like a pretty good piggy translation? I think it's alright. I don't think it's great, but I think it's alright.
Understand that the protection of myself and my family is more important than just telling you 100% truth every time someone asks a question. That's stupidity. That's an immature feeling of black and white. And if you don't understand the difference that the world is not black and white, I can't help you. Sorry, but that's just your own shortcomings, not mine. Okay. Oh, wrong. Baba Booey tipped me $1. Sorry, I just have to be honest. He says, oh, I think you're being too paranoid about trolls when they're pretty much harmless for the last 2 years. It's not worth lying to your fan base at this point to cover up Jasper. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be very real with all of you now, all right? Without giving specifics, okay? To adjourn today's stream, I don't tell you everything on purpose. If I told you on purpose, like if I told you all the things that happened to me and Kat as a result of us being, well, me being on the internet, because she's not. If I told you, oh, see you later, Jasper, he's taking off. I knew it. He got bored. Now he's off to peruse the rest of the house. If I told you everything people did to us, you would be disgusted, you would be appalled, and you would say, I can't believe how fucked up it is, and none of you would ever want to become a content creator on the internet. And the bottom line is, it would empower the people to do more shit. Okay? There's some really heinous things that have happened to us.
Wait, this is similar to something he said about Tevin a bunch of years ago. Where he was like, fucking A, man. Fucking A. Because Tevin just did a stream on this. Well, he did a stream, at the end of his stream, he talked about it. And, fuck, what was that? Okay, let me dig deep for this. DSP said that Tevin wasn't the worst of his detractors, but he steals from him, you know, and yada yada yada. And then he tried to walk that back or whatever. And Tevin said, if you have all these terrible things that go on behind the scenes that you don't want to tell people about, but you are freaking out the way you're freaking out by me restreaming you, then why wouldn't they just restream you then if they know they'll get this reaction guaranteed? Who gives a shit about what's going on behind the scenes? The same shit with this here. You're sitting here trying to paint this narrative that, you know what I'm saying, I guess multiple people are running a train on Cat, and you can't stop it. And then on top of that, people are going through your fridge, and people are hiding your battle axes and all this other silly shit. And that's just not the case. If it was absolute madness, like he's trying to make it sound like in 2019, why didn't his tires get stolen sooner? Why didn't someone actually try to break into the house or unlock the door or do troll shit like go into the house in the middle of the night and move all the furniture around and shit to freak them out when they wake up in the morning? Stuff like that. Like, if we were really running around ruckshot like that, why didn't it happen? You're mad because people critique you on the internet and you're acting like that's the end of the fucking world. That's your own fault. You can't just treat people any which way you want to treat them. And especially if you're asking them to not only contribute with their time, but then also throw money on top of it, you're opening yourself up for a certain level of responsibility to the people who continue to fund you. Remember, you're the ass clown. He just said it the other day. You're the ass clown who chose to have crowdfunding. And I think the reason, well, I don't think, I know, he chooses crowdfunding because he believes he has enough control over these people that he'll never have to give them more than what he's willing to give up. But that's not the case. Because now we're dwindling down to what? 2 or 3 whales? Maybe 4? Maybe less than a dozen pay pigs? If even that many? You've done enough hostile or at least heinous shit, and what to your own audience that gives people a reason. That gives people a reason to critique you the way they do. If people really wanted to bring this fight to your doorstep, they would have done it. That's why I don't believe the whole concept. I'm sorry, I don't. I'm not sorry. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I don't believe it. I don't believe a troll went out there and stole the tire. Because if that troll was worth their salt, I'd have gone for all 4. Trust me. Trust me when I say this. I'd have gone for all 4. I'd have gone for all 4 of them, and then I'd have sent pictures to fucking James the Lesser, Agent Proper, Declan, and whatnot, and be like, yo, I got these dude's tires. These are legit this dude's tires. I swear to you. I'd have done that. If I was really going to go trolling on that level, I'm not going to take 1 tire and then leave my fucking tire jack. I'm not doing that. Here's the point. He can play victim all he wants, but the statement that was made still rings true. If people were really going to go after your neck, they'd have done it. They would have done it. And then if it happened, you wouldn't have kept that a secret. You would have said so. Just like when Amber fucking gets shitted on, she's going to be quick to tell you. If Chantel fucking, or Foodie Beauty, if she gets fucking shitted on or someone trolls her or whatever, she's going to be quick to talk about it. Because why waste an opportunity to be a victim? If you really think about it, why waste a perfectly good opportunity to be a victim? And that's why his story about the 14-inch, 18-inch horse cock or whatever, the cardboard cutout bullshit, didn't sound right. Oh, my neighbor got it. How do you know the neighbor got it? It sounds like it went to you and you didn't say anything because you got mad about it, but you held on to it. And then you went ahead and flipped the story that, oh, my neighbor got it. So the neighbor got it in the mail, gave it to you, and then you decided to stay quiet about it? Think about that. Honestly, think about it. And then how would the neighbor have known what that was? They weren't going to open the mail if your name is on it. Semantics.
I'm not going to get into personal stuff with our families and the like, and it's fucked up.
Golden Tire Gaming. I'd have made a whole other channel and just called it that. It should have been fantastic.
It's grade A fucked up stuff that only people who are really fucked up here would even fathom doing some of the stuff that they've tried to do or have done to us. I don't tell you guys about that stuff because I don't want to bother you with that. You don't need to know about that. Some of you would even question why I still do this if you knew about it. All right. But we tough through it. We get through it. Kat and I are here to support each other through that nasty shit.
Yeah, Ghost Hunter, I agree with that 100%. It's super crazy. He's right. Whoever it is that ends up getting DSP, it's going to be someone in his own fan base. It's going to be someone who's absolutely fucking disgruntled, who's already incredibly obsessed, and that's going to be the person that finally gets him in the end. And I'm not even saying that the guy will even, end him in Minecraft. But I'm saying someone that's going to actually inflict, like, actually hurt him, it will more than likely be that. Oh no! I have to finish the stream in 5 minutes or my account's going to get banned. God damn! But I still have, like, I still got like an hour and a half, YouTube. Tell Susan I'll just send her some more boxed wine. I'm sorry, I can't do that. I can't. I don't work well on time limits.
And, you know, it is what it is. But the thing is, you say, oh, the detractors haven't been bad for 2 years. You have no fucking idea. Just because I don't talk about it publicly anymore doesn't mean the nasty stuff doesn't happen. It just means I don't talk about it because that empowers them to do more. And I don't do that anymore. And by the way, that's why they're so pissy. Because they try stuff and they don't know anything about it because I don't talk about any of that shit on purpose because they don't deserve the time of fucking day for the stuff that they do. Okay? Wow, now Philip Smelly cheered. He said, Philip Smelly Cat. That's one thing about cats. They're not like dogs. They don't smell at all. Cats are incredibly cleanly. They're constantly cleaning and they don't stink. So he is not a smelly cat. Absolutely not. Of course, Vote Democrat says, I'm sure the trolls will turn this toxic. Of course. But who cares? Who gives a fuck about them anymore? Really?
I appreciate it, Black Doom. Because, there's still so much to go over. Like, I need you to run interference for me for just a little bit longer. I very much appreciate it.
We're going to... They will hurt me in ways, but they have never been able to succeed in ever shutting me down, and they're not ever going to, you know? I've persevered for 11 fucking years. I'm not going anywhere. Even though times are tough, you guys come together, you support me. I mean, holy shit, guys. So, again, thank you to everyone who cheered Sub the Tip today. Amazing. Didn't expect this outpouring of support. Thank you guys so much for that, okay?
Why does that just feel... Why does that feel like it just falls flat? Like, I feel like when he tries to be appreciative, it just comes across like being, like, insincere. Like, does anybody else feel that? It might be just me because I'm an asshole. But, like, I always feel like every time he says something that's supposed to have the whiff of gratitude, it just smells like toilet grease. And it's as slimy as toilet grease, too, even though I don't know what that feels like. It don't feel right. It's like it's him trying to imitate. It's like him trying to imitate an emotion, and it just falls flat.
Well, I do a Halloween stream. Okay. Holy shit.
See, I told you I got y'all. It was a little out of sync though, but I need you guys to see it this way. So, like I said, there's your 2100. Now watch closely.
So much for that. Okay. Well, I do a Halloween stream. Okay. Holy shit. Well, if this is real, which I want to confirm that it is, I think it is, but I want to confirm that this is before I make any kind of a crazy announcement here. I think I just received a $1,000 tip. Holy shit. I think I did. I just want to confirm this. I just received a $1,000 tip from Planet Jeff. Thank you very
one more thing I want you guys to look at real fast. You see this thing on the top of his head? See this parting of the fucking of the skull, if you will? Like, this is why he keeps fucking with his hair the way he does as of late. Like, this shit's falling out, I would assume, or it's definitely getting thinner because his hairline is definitely receding. And he's trying really, really hard to cover it up, and it just comes across as being pathetic. Just cut this shit off. Just cut it off. If you're not gonna do anything to actually fix it, then just cut it off. Save yourself the trouble.
Very, very, very much, Planet Jeff. Holy freaking shit! That gets us up to $2,013 of tips today, which again is going straight to the bank account to pay bills for this month. And yes, I can now definitely confirm with all of you, this is going to tremendously help me this month. Thank you to anyone who gave anything today. I was not expecting anything like this. Thank you very, very much. And Jeff, wow. Thank you, sir. That is amazing. Thank you for helping us. Really. Thank you. So anyway, he says, dude, I missed most of the stream. Jasper sounds so cute. I adopted a dog last year called Scotch, and he's a Scottish Terrier. Those are so cute. Scottish Terriers are awesome. He says, I'm so happy everyone came through, and this is to help. Thank you, Planet Jet. Wow. RFHG5 also did a 100-bit cheer. He said, good news, and then cheered again. He said, this was one of the best days ever. Thank you, everyone. Hype. I mean, yeah, RFHG5 also did a 100-bit cheer. He said, good news, and then cheered again. He said, this was one of the best days ever. Thank you, everyone. Hype. In reality, just think about how awesome today was. We just did a crazy fun marathon of Mario 64. I've started a full-on playthrough of the game. I'm liking the game a lot, even though it's challenging and I'm failing. You guys are enjoying the playthrough. We had an amazing time together, and you guys helped me through a tough time here. Thank you so much. Buddy, you want to come up here? He's looking right at me now. You want to come up here again? Come on up. Here you come.
Dragon, it might be a bit of both, to be honest. DSP's fans, or I don't know if I even call them fans, really. DSP has a demographic of viewers who believe in the whole narrative of an us against them type scenario. You have some people who actually believe in the cause, and you have people that are just under the pignosis. And most of it, like I would assume the hand jobs that he very rarely gets from Cat, is probably just pity when you think about it. To sit there and say that he doesn't have legitimate fans would be... I'd be facetious for saying that. I don't even believe that. I don't believe all of the contributions that are given in the volumes that they're given is done because they're actual fans. I really don't. DSP keeps himself in a constant state of distress, right? And I've spoken about this before. He wants to be the victim and he wants to be the hero of his own story, and you can't have both. You know what I'm saying? If you think about it, DSP never comes out here and just quote unquote performs as on just his merit, right? There has to be a payoff at the end. And if he doesn't meet that payoff, now I have to insert the sob story. Oh, I have to go ahead and insert the persecution. I have to insert whatever else I can to make shit happen. Big ups, Proper. And congratulations on the new job. Good shit. Good shit. DSP very rarely does anything on his own merit. And at least and if you look at things from a current situation, excuse me, even Street Fighter's falling flat. All the years of experience, all this know-how or whatever, he has nothing for you. How is it that you can sit there and bitch on stream for the better part of 5 hours between the morning and night streams and whatnot, and you don't impart any type of knowledge or of instruction on Street Fighter whatsoever? It's, this is why I lost, this is bullshit, I was blocking, I couldn't move, I can't do this, I can't do that. He never actually instills any information or knowledge on you, because he doesn't have any. And I think people just learn to deal with it. I think people just expect it. And I think people really believe that there's an us versus them type of mentality, which it isn't anything, because I've never lost no sleep over this bullshit. Have I gotten mad at it? Yes. I'll be the first one to admit it. And whatnot. You can actually see it through my my catalog and whatnot. But to lose sleep over this nonsense, or to think that, or to have any type of animosity against a pay pig or whatever, nah. If I do feel any type of way about anything, and I don't feel any type of way about it, but it does give me a reason to smack the fuck out of him, verbally of course, is because he's not going to be able to take a physical smack, is Review Tech USA, because he know better. Rich is a massive fucking pay pig, and he knows that he shouldn't be doing that. And he knows where that shit went to. Even when the WWE leak, actually Rich admitted this recently, somewhat recently, when the WWE Champions stuff came out, he didn't believe it. He didn't want to believe it. And then once the actual hard data came out, then all of a sudden, fuck man, it's true. And he actually kind of looked depressed over it. He may have just been overreacting, but he actually believed in the cause. Review Tech USA, of all people, and you're believing anything and everything that comes out of DSP's mouth? And do you think Rich did that because he was really a fan? Or is it because he pities him too? Most of the shit that you see is out of pity, is the point I'm trying to make. Most of it's out of pity. And DSP doesn't want to be looked at it that way, but it is. He's always done everything out of pity. He only got the job at the helicopter company because of pity. He didn't have a job. His father got him in. Yeah, they had the interview process, but that was a formality. He was going to get the job. But he didn't do it on his merit. He did it because his father pulled strings for him. It is what it is. His whole life is like that, though. Look at how easy it is for him to beg for money. Look, if you guys have been watching the Bacon Sweats over the last couple days, you kind of see it. That shit... Okay, how do I word this? A person with pride, actual pride, a person with pride does everything in their power before they have to ask for help. Even if it puts them at a further deficit. Now, should you do that? No. You have friends, you have family, and I'm sure they're going to be more than willing to help you. DSP was asking for help from people on the internet he didn't know as easily as if he was sitting there begging to his parents. And the reason why is it's just a mechanism of his personality. He doesn't feel no shame about it. But then when people started to point it out, oh, it's not begging, it's business. Oh, it's not begging, it's advertising. And all this other just nonsense that just made him sound more and more pathetic. If he just manned up and said, hey, when I get into a situation, my first instinct is to beg, I'm still going to laugh at you. And you no longer can try to fight me on it, but at least it's out there. I don't need someone else to tell me, or I don't even need him, to tell me that he's a fucking loser and he can't do anything for himself. It's just what he is. He displays that daily. That's why every community, that's why every website, that's why wherever he's ever been, he gets pushed out, or he's forced to leave, or he just runs. And that's not just on the internet, but that was in IRL too. You know what I'm saying? Like it's but to answer your initial question without all that other stuff, it's definitely pity. I think at the end of the day, it's more pity than everything. Or than anything. Let me end it off with this. Or at least end off this particular thought. For someone to have less than you, let me repeat, for someone who has less than you, who is willing to give you everything they have and some, does not come from being a true fan. Because anybody who's a fan of yours or a regular viewer or whatever the case may be, they would know that you would never ask them for that. You would never expect that. You know what I'm saying? That's what that comes down to. DSP doesn't have no boundaries with what you can give or contribute or whatever the case may be. So people will literally give him everything because he has conditioned them to do so. He never put any restraints on. He never told it. He said in the past, oh, give me what you can, yada, yada, yada. And then he'll beg 10 more times throughout that same stream to reinforce that I really need this. You got people who have gone into bankruptcy multiple times helping this asshole. And that person in particular had kids. He had obligations, real obligations. You would put your kids before this man? Putting your finances before him is already ridiculous. But you would put... Yeah, Timbo Slice. Thank you, Proper. But you would put your kids before him? If that's not pity, I don't know what is. It's definitely stupidity. But it's also pity, too.
Here you come, buddy. Moria asks, will it be possible for you to disclose Jasper's medical record with the procedures he went through while he was with his previous owner? So Jasper is my cat, who just a couple months ago I revealed I have a cat and had a cat for a while. A lot of people were shocked by that. And some people have brought his medical history into question because he is...
Now, here's another thing, too. Now, this is old. This right here, this Ask the King is also from 2019. And you can kind of see the snort sacks here, too. So, I don't know why I never really noticed it up till recent. But clearly they were always there. I thought I'd just point that out to you.
Claude, and of course I told everyone about that right early on, and some people accused me of doing it, and some people have wanted evidence to make sure that I wasn't the one who declawed him. First of all, I would never declaw a cat. It's one of the worst things you could do to a cat because a cat needs its claws, number one, for protection, and number two, to feel safe. Without its front claws, it can actually have like psychological problems, okay? One of the reasons that Jasper was at the rescue shelter so long was because he didn't have his front claws. People wanted cats that had intact claws, and a lot of people see things as very inhumane. to declaw a cat. I agree. I would never do that. But you know the assholes out there, just because I have a declawed cat, it must mean that I really did it because I'm a horrible person, so let's try to do everything we can. And these idiots actually went around looking to try to say that I had stolen Jasper from people in Washington, and let's find information to prove that Phil declawed this cat. Of course, none exists because I didn't. Just insane, crazy shit. Okay? So Mora Moria actually had contacted me and said, Phil, if I ask you this question and ask the king, what could you provide? All right, I said, you want me to be honest? I'll look it up. So I did. All right, so here's what I've got. I just have very basic paperwork stating that Jasper came from a Nebraska rescue shelter. It doesn't state his previous owners. It doesn't state what's been done to him previously. All it says is that he's from Nebraska and they have a rabies certificate approving or proving that he had his rabies shot. So he was basically made so that he doesn't get rabies, which you need in order to actually have a cat that you give or let someone adopt or rescue or whatever. You have to have that proper documentation, because if that cat has rabies and you give it to someone and they get bitten, you get big financial liability. Okay. In addition, that paperwork basically said, you know, no like visible indication of genitalia. Therefore, we think that he's been neutered. You know, because he doesn't have that, you know, he doesn't have anything going on with his genitalia or anything like that. Looks exactly like he had been neutered, okay? So that's the thing, but they don't even have records that he was neutered. They don't know where he was neutered or anything. Essentially, I guess this cat, what we're thinking, this is what we're thinking about Jasper.
Now, I want you to take this into consideration for a minute. So we have a cat here who's been declawed, and I guess he's saying that Jasper's been neutered, and there's no records anywhere of any of it. Nothing at all. Just nothing exists. Like Jasper just kind of materialized out of nowhere with these shortcomings, and no one knows. That's a great screenshot. God damn, that's fantastic. This is what he really looks like, by the way. Like, this is what Catherine probably sees on a day-to-day basis. That's something. God damn. And the hat just insinuates how fucking weirdly shaped his head is. Holy shit. He kind of looks like Foodie Beauty, just without the head wrap thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know how her face is all scrunched up and it looks like this weird oval? It's kind of like, God damn, Phil. Anyway, so keep that in mind. just keep that in mind. Holy shit.
The owner declawed him, and for whatever reason, that still wasn't enough. Still wasn't satisfied with the cat, and basically just let him go. And probably he was picked up on the street and brought to a shelter in Nebraska, where he probably stayed for a while. Why on earth he was transferred from Nebraska to Washington State is anyone's guess. No one even knew at the shelter that we got him from here in Washington State why he had been transferred, just that he was here, and here's the paperwork we have. You know, they even told us, you know, one of the liabilities of getting a cat like this is that they don't test for cat leukemia, and he might have leukemia, but you know, leukemia is incredibly expensive to test for and then treat. But they saw zero indications that he had it. So just know up front they didn't test for it. But he might have it, you know, because they didn't test for it.
Gotcha, bitch! So what did we... Now, this was a while ago when I said this. We're, you know, over 2 hours into this. But remember how we were saying the importance of a blood test? He's sitting here saying, oh, well, they think he may have cat leukemia, but they don't know, yada, yada, yada. But they didn't test him for it. So why didn't you get him tested? And that right there in itself should have resonated with him, the importance of a blood test. And he's got nothing to say about it. He just waved that shit off. And then, as someone just pointed out, with this pet trafficking type shit, who the fuck... Are there not enough stray cats in fucking Seattle? That they needed to import cats from another fucking state? Oh my god. It's reliving this shit all over again. Holy shit. Good times.
But that's it. Like, there's nothing. We have no paperwork stating who previously owned him, where in Nebraska it was, if it was in Nebraska, any other medical procedures that have been done to him. I wish we did, but we have absolutely nothing to really say anything. The new paperwork that came from this current shelter that we got him from said, don't worry, we tested him for basic stuff. Seems like he has nothing wrong with him. You know, visibly there was nothing wrong. The only thing was that when he first came into the shelter, apparently he sneezed a lot, but then they said it cleared up. So funny thing, when we first took in Jasper, he was sneezing a lot. For about 2 weeks when we first got him, he was walking around the house sneezing constantly, and then all of a sudden, he stopped doing it. And what we think it is that he may have like some nasal allergies, where if he's in a new area, a new kind of dust or new kind of whatever, he sneezes a bit, but once his body's immune system gets used to that situation, it doesn't bother him anymore. And it's actually funny.
And here's the funny part. It's not funny. This is the reason why he doesn't get Jasper checked up. Because if Jasper shows some type of unusual behavior, they'll let it go for a couple days, maybe even a week, and see what happens. And if it's nothing and whatnot, instead of taking the time to maybe get it checked out, they'll just let it go and be like, fuck it. Screw it. He doesn't have it now, so, he's okay. Just like his father, his latent mutant ability has kicked in, and now he's, he's built himself a defense to that shit. Exactly, the fucking Seattle Air. That shit is kind of wild. That's just kind of wild. And like I said, you sitting, depending on how severe the situation is, you sitting on something for maybe a day, maybe two, maybe. But you don't know how long this idiot does that. And you don't know how long Catherine did it. So it's destructive behavior on both accounts.
Because I had the same situation, but not sneezing, but itching. When we first got Jasper, for 2 weeks, I was itching on certain parts of my body. I was feeling this like crazy itch, and then it went away. So I think that I might have had like a minor cat allergy, but because he stayed in the house and basically I got my body built up an immunity to cat dander, and now I don't have that problem anymore. So it was kind of like a two-way thing. But the truth of the matter is, no, I have nothing, and this was funny. Phil must have declawed that cat because he's not showing us proof to the contrary. That's not the case, and much like most things that my asshole detractors say about me, they try to get me into a situation where I couldn't disprove the things that they say, but you're innocent until proven guilty in a court of law.
Does anybody remember where we heard this from? We heard this during that WWE Champion situation during the fucking side-scrollers saga. Same shit. Let me bring that back. Let me allow you to be refreshed for a minute. Allow me to indulge you in this nonsense.
That's not the case. And much like most things that my asshole detractors say about me, they try to get me into a situation where I couldn't disprove the things that they say, but you're innocent until proven guilty in a court of law in the United States. So all the crazy shit, the speculation and nonsense that they say, just because I can't prove the contrary, doesn't mean that what they say is true. They say I make up things about my taxes and I make up well, Phil never showed us evidence of the tax. It's like, do you want me to pull up actual paperwork from the tax office with my fucking information and everything on it and show it to you, and now I'll be in trouble because my public information is out and people can use that to fuck with me? No, blur it out. Okay, I'll blur it out, but now you could say that I made it up because there's no information that's proving anything because I blurred it all out. You see what I mean? Like, these people do this to create a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. So no matter what, it looks like Phil's fishy. And the truth of the matter is, a logical adult, when you reach a certain level of wisdom and maturity, realizes that when people usually make these kind of arguments, it's because they know there's no way that the person could logically prove anything. How could I prove that a cat that has no medical records coming from the state of Nebraska where he came from, that I didn't declaw this cat? I can't. What I can tell you is you'll never find any evidence of any doctor or anyone ever saying that they did it, because I didn't do it. I never did that, and apparently the evidence doesn't exist.
Yeah, no. I want you to look at the head movement. I want you to look at the eyes and everything. I want you to look at the panic. Because why would you say it this way? If anybody tried to look it up, they'll never find any evidence of anything because, I didn't do nothing. I didn't do that. Why would you say it like that? Just say, hey, I didn't do it. It's almost like he's trying to discourage you, and he does this, to not look, to not try to dig in any further. Jesus Christ, that's a fucking horrifying, but yet pretty good screenshot. So take all that in.
Claw this cat. I can't. What I can tell you is you'll never find any evidence of any doctor or anyone ever saying that they did it, because I didn't do it. I never did that, and apparently the evidence doesn't exist. So I love how people will just immediately defaults to me being the villain, right? But the thing is, hold on a second here. Mark. I want to unban someone because someone actually contacted me to be unbanned during the stream and I completely forgot about it. I'm going to do that right now while it's hot on my mind here. But that's the truth, you know? And I don't know what else to say about it. Like, I can't prove to you guys anything one way or the other. There's going to be some people who believe me. There's going to be some people who don't believe me, you know?
Yeah, August, that would be a great way to go about it, but he's not thinking about that. He's not. Like, he doesn't... And that's what I'm trying to say. Like, DSP, for all intents and purposes, is not nearly as clever or quick on the draw as he makes himself out to be. He needs time. And you see that in, actually, proof positive, he's like that in Street Fighter. That dude needs time to think out the match. He needs to slow the match down to where he's comfortable. If someone just outright rushes him, he's fucked. He's always been that way. Go back, and Goji was here earlier. Go back and look at those older matches with Goji. And, well, Goji, thanks, sorry. But go back and look at those older... I like calling it Goji, though, because it's endearing. But go back and look at those earlier matches with Goji tanks and shit. And when Goji is on him, DSP don't know what the fuck to do. He don't know what the fuck to do. If he can't spam uppercut, he's fucked. He is fucked. He needs time to do shit. He just can't think on the fly. You know what I mean? So, like, a lot of people say, oh, he's a great talker, this, that, and the third. Man, you don't know how often he's mentally rehearsed that shit. You know what I'm saying? None of that shit's on the fly. And the moment you start asking pointed questions, which is why Third Eye the Third, Snow Carl, and all these guys were fucking funny trolls, he falls apart.
Matter is, if you like me and you like my content, and you like me as a person and a streamer, you'll believe me, because I've never shown any evidence of anything of being cruel to animals. I absolutely love animals. My life, that's a lifelong thing for me. That I'm a lover of animals. I absolutely love having pets. I love, you know, having animals around. I love going visit. I love zoos. I love pet stores. I've always been that way. I would never actively do anything to hurt an animal. So, you know, the fact that people... Here's the other thing, too, is he has his back claws. I have scratches all over my body. I have a scratch right here that's probably going to become a scar because he scratched the shit out of me the other week on stream. He jumped and went tsh, and scratched my leg bad. He scratched.
Yeah, exactly. Like what happened to those hamsters? What was that? Cinnamon? Was it cinnamon and raisin? What happened with them? What happened to Bunny? You know what I'm saying? His pet rabbit that we called Bunny because we're so creative. What happened with that situation? Like, holy shit.
Here, one morning I was asleep, he jumped on my leg and went right into my leg, and I was bleeding badly for about an hour. I had to try, you know, I was like, damn, he got me good, man. If that were the case, why wouldn't I back declaw him too? You know, he's scratching the shit out of me, but I'm not going to, because I'm not a cruel asshole.
Who was going to accuse you of doing it? No, you need to bring that back. Who was going to accuse you of back declawing him? And I'm thinking that maybe you didn't, maybe, if you did do it, you did it because cats are more prone to use their front claws when they're scratching shit up. And obviously, given what happened on the earlier or just last week, money is a thing for you. So, you know, I don't know if they couldn't cut you a special on getting all 4 claws declawed or what, but no one accused you of declawing him again. You know what I'm saying? No one ever said that. Why'd that come up?
Right into my leg, and I was bleeding badly for about an hour. I had to try, you know, I was like, damn, he got me good, man. If that were the case, why wouldn't I back declaw him too? You know, he's scratching the shit out of me, but I'm not going to, because I'm not a cruel asshole. I'll live with it. What are you going to do, right? Alright, so anyway.
Oh shit, Logan, when, was that recent? Was that like in the last week or the last couple of days? He has a history of animal neglect, and he also talked about strangling a bird the other day. Oh, shizzle. I will make a small notation of that, because that's something I may want to chase down. I'll bite on that. I will definitely chase that shit down if it's a thing. And a DSP reacts. Of course it was. Of course it was. Oh, fuck. I gotta go to that fucking scumbag's channel and get that? God damn. I gotta go to DSP reacts for that? Alright, fuck it, I'll do it. I'm gonna see if I can find it.
I wish that I had better information. I wish that I could prove what I say, but that's the truth of the matter, is when people make shit up about you, they do it because they usually know that there's no way you could disprove what they're saying without taking great personal risk. I can't prove what I say about my taxes because then I take great personal risk that people could get personal information about me and fuck with me, so I'm not going to do that. I can't prove that I didn't declaw Jasper because there's no record of any of his medical shit at all, except for when he hit the shelter here in Washington State. But they will then say, well, you see, there you go. No, that's not how life works. In life, the accuser doesn't 100% always get saying, well, if you don't disprove it's true. It's the opposite. If you can't prove, it's fucking false. Or else anyone could say anything about anyone. I could walk up to your house today and say, you stole $1,000 from me. And you could be like, what the fuck are you talking about? I never met you or nothing. Well, unless you have evidence to say that you didn't steal $1,000, that's it. I'm taking you to court, buddy. See what I mean? Doesn't make any fucking sense, but that's how these
It don't make any fucking sense, but you've accused other content creators of doing absolutely scumbaggish shit. You've accused other people, just recently, actually, in the last couple weeks, you accused people on Street Fighter 6 of lag switching, which is ridiculous, by the way. I just think your connection is not very good, or especially during certain times of the day. You've accused people of some absolutely mind-numbing bullshit, so it was okay for you to do it, but it's not okay for someone else. And because you have no proof and you're not willing to go out your way to prove that you didn't do set thing, oh, just deal with it. And then I think someone just said he did kill Tweety. That's good shit, silent weapon. Holy shit, good shit. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't, it doesn't, you just don't get to have it your way. You're literally saying, I'm not going to prove this thing, oh well. I don't care. If you want to go around with that on your name, then that's on you. But that right there should be actively something you should be trying to disassociate yourself from. But womp womp. Matter of fact, couldn't you show documents from the shelter saying that Jasper came there declawed? That would automatically get you off the hook now that I think about it. Yeah, now that I actually think about it, you said that there's a record of him being transferred from Nebraska to Seattle. So if that's the case, the records in Seattle should say, hey, we got him from Nebraska and he was declawed. Then the Nebraska records should also say, yeah, when we picked him up, he was declawed. That's all the proof he could ever need. That's legitimately all the proof he could ever need. Oh well.
Okay. Let's continue.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I actually have a bonus that didn't make it into that cut. So, same year.
The Honest Troll cheered, and he asked a question. He says, I don't know anything about cats. Is it safe to assume that raising one is relatively inexpensive? Also, don't come on it. Well, that reference is a reference to another YouTuber who got into a big controversy for making really disgusting jokes about his cat years and years ago, and it became this big controversial topic. No, don't worry about that kind of crap, okay? But that being said, I would say cat is pretty inexpensive to raise. So far, since we've had Jasper, I mean, the only really ongoing costs are his food, which isn't expensive, by the way. You can get a can of cat food for $1. And a cat's really only supposed to eat one major meal like that a day, and then you can give him treats and stuff. But basically, you don't want to overfeed a cat by giving it like multiple cans of cat food a day. That's how you get a fat cat. Kitty litter, which, it could be expensive if you get a high pricey one. We don't do that. We get kind of a mid-grade one. And in particular, if you change your cat litter frequently or if you scoop out the crap, you don't have to change it that often anyway. So it ends up not being that big of a deal. So not very expensive there either.
Here, I'm gonna bring that back because I think whoever it was that clipped this, they did that on purpose because of all the UTIs. So let's just take that part in.
So not very expensive there either. As for medical costs, every once in a while, bring it to the vet. We had them checked out immediately. So not very expensive there either. As for medical costs, every once in a while, bring it to the vet.
Sorry about that. Give me a second. It can't be this far back.
Ends up not being that big of a deal. So not very expensive there either. As for medical costs, every once in a while, bring it to the vet. We had him checked out immediately when we got him to make sure that he was okay, and the vet said he had a clean bill of health. And if anything goes wrong, once a year you're supposed to do a checkup, and once a year I believe that they do the what do you call it? There's some kind of a medicine they give the cat once a year, right? When you go to the vet checkup, and we've already got all that scheduled and everything. And yeah, it's probably gonna be a little pricey to do it once a year, but it's fine once a year, right? As flea protection, yes, we have that for him. And even though the name brand stuff is incredibly expensive, you can get stuff that's way, way, way cheaper that does exactly the same thing. And toys. But in general, cats are pretty inexpensive. Unlike a big dog or whatever that eats a shitload of food, a cat really doesn't eat that much. And like I said with Jasper...
Yeah, here, let me bring this thing back with the kitty litter. I'm surprised I missed that. Because that right there explains the UTIs. And him going El Cheapo essentially on everything else by the sound of it. Like, it's really wild going back and listening to this. And finding shit like this is actually not hard, to be honest. It's just there's so much bullshit you have to go through. But you do find moments where it's like, wow, you did really say that. And so now I'm going to try to clip it. Because I know like Tevin and Ann and guys like that, they do that. And it makes sense too. Because Jesus Christ, there's so much shit that flies by in between snorts. It's easy to miss it.
Get a high pricey one, we don't do that. We get kind of a mid-grade one. And in particular, if you change your cat litter frequently or if you scoop out the crap, you don't have to change it that often anyway. So it ends up not being that big of a deal. So not very expensive there either. As for, medical costs, every once in a while, bring it to the vet. We had him checked out immediately when we got him to make sure that he was okay, and the vet said he had a clean bill of health. And if anything goes wrong, once a year you're supposed to do a checkup. And once a year I believe that they do the, what do you call it? There's some kind of a medicine they give the cat once a year, right? When you go to the vet checkup. And we've already got all that scheduled and everything. And yeah, it's probably going to be a little pricey to do it once a year, but it's fine once a year, right? As flea protection, yes, we have that for him. And even though the name brand stuff is incredibly expensive, you can get stuff that's way, way, way cheaper that does exactly the same thing. And toys. But in general, cats are pretty inexpensive. Unlike a big dog or whatever that eats a shitload of food, a cat really doesn't eat that much. And like I said with Jasper, we got lucky because he's not a mischievous cat. Even though he likes playing and he likes doing stuff, he doesn't like knock stuff down. He doesn't make a mess. He doesn't
hum along if you can't sing along. I can see that price tag scaring the shit out of him. I really do. I see that price tag scaring the shit out of him. And look at the bare minimum shit he's doing right here. What he's actively telling you. That, hey, this is what we do. This is the corners we're cutting or whatever. He's not trying to make it sound like that, but that's how it comes off. So God knows, man, what happens when Jasper really gets into a situation. I don't know if we're going to get a T level of crying and shit, and then he thinks that he's going to have $5,000 rained on him. I don't know. But if you go back and look at just some of the stuff I've showed you, it'll always come back to him and Catherine's fault. And how will he explain that away?
Tear stuff up. You know what I mean? Like, he could have been a cat that just loves to destroy, and he's not. So in essence, he's very inexpensive to raise. So, that's one of the awesome things about him. As opposed to if we had a different kind of pet that could be way more pricey or expensive. He's been pretty inexpensive, which is neat. So, alright, let's continue on. Oh, and by the way, one other thing I should say, you could get something called pet insurance. That also is pretty inexpensive. And for, a little bit a month, basically what they do is they cost up to a certain level of medical cost, etc. And we have that for him. So, a few bucks a month, if something goes horribly wrong, and we have to end up paying thousands of dollars of medical bills, the insurance will cover up to a certain amount. Will cover the whole thing? Of course not. But as long as you can prove that it was some kind of a weird circumstance that happened, the pet insurance will usually cover it. And that way you don't have insane amounts of cost out of nowhere that you can't afford. And I'll be very honest here as well. My parents are pet lovers. They're cat lovers. They have multiple cats. And, talking with them when we got Jasper, they said, yeah, more than likely if anything went horribly wrong, they would be able to help out a little bit. Don't worry about, oh God, if something happens, now you can't afford it or something like that. They would be able to, at least do a little bit to help out. So there you go.
I told you, I got y'all. I told you. I got y'all. Talking about the pet insurance, yet again. Talking about Mommy and Daddy Burnell were willing to chip in on it. I told you, I got y'all.
That just loves to destroy, and he's not. So in essence...
Except for the wires to the controller, the wire to your headphones that you no longer wear because of your gouty ear infections, the video card, or the capture card. I mean, Jasper ran havoc in that bitch. But then again, if you kept getting sprayed with a water bottle for no goddamn reason, you would probably run havoc too. Let's be honest.
Very inexpensive to raise. So, you know, that's one of the awesome things about him. As opposed to if we had a different kind of pet that could be way more pricey or expensive. He's been pretty inexpensive, which is neat. So, alright. Let's continue on. Oh, and by the way, one other thing I should say. You could get something called pet insurance. That also is pretty inexpensive. And for, you know, a little bit a month, basically what they do is they cost up to a certain level of medical cost, etc. And we have that for him. So, you know, a few bucks a month, if something goes horribly wrong and we have to end up paying thousands of dollars in medical bills, the insurance will cover up to a certain amount. Will cover the whole thing? Of course not. But as long as you can prove that it was some kind of a weird circumstance that happened, the pet insurance will usually cover it. And that way you don't have insane amounts of cost out of nowhere that you can't afford. And I'll be very honest here as well. My parents are pet lovers. They're cat lovers. They have multiple cats. And, you know, talking with them when we got Jasper, they said, yeah, more than likely if anything went horribly wrong, they would be able to help out a little bit. You know, don't worry about, oh, God, if something happens, now you can't afford it or something like that. They would be able to, you know, at least do a little bit to help out. So there you go. So let's continue on. All
right, chat. So this is where we're going to end it. I have 3 more segments for you. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I got 3 more segments for you. So I'm hoping to get that squared away in the next stream. It's probably close to 2 hours plus. There might even be 3, depending on where we get a little bit deeper with this. But I hope this is essentially how this was a decent start and whatnot. Hopefully, it's a refresher course for some of you. For some of you who may not have known, it gives you a bit of an idea. There's a lot of discrepancies in some of his bullshit, and theoretically, a lot of advantages were given to him, and somehow he still figured out a way to fuck it all up, which doesn't make any goddamn sense. So give me a second. We'll reconvene for final thoughts, and I will let you guys go, and then I will see you for part 2. See you guys in a second.
We're real happy to see y'all tonight. I welcome you all.
Alright, guys. DSP is getting beat up, or he's probably in... No, he's probably bitching on his pre-stream. But he's supposed to be getting beat up today. That should be fun. Like I said, the next stream we do will be part 2 to this. I don't know when that'll be. Could be tomorrow. We'll see. Because I think Phil's off tomorrow. And I think I've squared myself up for the week at the very least. So we'll see. But we'll pick up where we left off. Big ups for all you guys showing up. I think most of you guys pretty much have gotten where we're going with this. So we'll see how that plays. There's a lot of nonsense though, and I'd like to just try to clear it up. I don't have everything, or I couldn't fit everything. So, you know, me and the other members here just did what we could. So I'm glad that was, I mean, hopefully that helps. Here, let me throw, I can throw the song here too. It's in the description as well, but here, I can put it for you right here. Let's see here. Alright, there's a song that's being played currently. Big ups to all of you guys. Get out of here. Go to your favorite detractor or your favorite restream or whatever the case may be. Have a good day. I'll catch you guys on the flip. And like I said, just thank you guys for coming out, man. Take care of yourselves. Later, people.
y'all flourish, hope you're always cool. And remember what you said, man, it's always you. Don't worry about the hate, cause you're always true. Take yourself and cherish us, man, I always know. Been here since drum and bass, and you're in our circulations. To the sounds of Akari and the Moogie compilations. To the mega mix throwbacks or the kanji on your pages. To the nerd, wasn't stopping before Tenko as the place you call home. Damn, you shot us in the heart. May your day be filled with Mary, and this song convey our thoughts. Hey, that's why I'm happy to say it's your day, it's your day. I'm happy to say, I'm happy to say it's your day. I'm happy to say, I'm happy to say it's your day.